advantage of. And I don't think Muslims, especially the Dawa guys who try to mask their language in philosophical language, you guys have an advantage of being clear and understandable. This is what people need to realize: being clear and understandable without being deceived. Like the Dawa boys on here, they're trying to be so hard at being philosophical where no one can understand them and people think they're cooking. That's what they have to do, because the best Dawa guys on here is trying to be deceitful. But you guys have an advantage of just being able to be clear and understandable, so that everybody knows what you're saying and everybody knows that you're cooking. So I just keep being like clear and understandable, and you'll always cook them.
Yeah, no, simple is often the best. Simple is often the best. Somebody once said to me, someone wrote to me and said, the advantage of listening to me, was that I don't use words I can't spell. So when you're speaking to someone, speak a language they understand. Paul did that. Paul became a Jew to the Jews. He spoke the language they would understand. I'm not going to sit over here and hope to bring people in with words that they don't know what it means. And then I'm just confusing everyone and everything. So again, all I'm saying is that when we're having these types of conversations, it's the ones that makes the point as simple as possible that wins the debate or the argument.
Yep. And like listen to Muslims, and I always give this example out when they try to say somebody like cooked logic, cooked word, or cooked you, or something like that. And like logic, of course, is like the most known. So everyone will say all the Muslims will say they cook logic. Okay, what did you cook them on? Or what did the Dawa guys cook them on? And they can't even explain it. They'll say, "Oh, Libiano cooked them on this." Okay, explain the argument. Because they don't even understand what Libiano or whatever stupid Muslim guy is saying, they can't repeat it. Ask a Christian. You know it. You know what Avery cooked him on. He said Jesus is Yahweh in some sense. Cook. Easy. Easy. Like, even Word. I know. I listen to Word. They accepted the New Testament. Cook. Easy. On the Islamic Dilemma. Man, it's just so easy. And so, yeah, man, just keep using.
The thing is, they cook themselves when they try to be smarter than they actually are. Then they cook themselves and they don't see it. And then you try to point it out to them, and then they tell you there's something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a reason why I like the popular phrase, "We just read," because that's all we got to do. If you just read the New Testament, it'll teach the Christian doctrine. Read the Old and New Testament. If you just read the Old and New Testament, you'll get Christianity. If you read the Quran, it completely just reading the Quran
takes you away from.
You will not get Islam. It will make you leave Islam if you just read the Quran.
You'd be like, what is he talking about? Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, guys, I'm just making a bit of noise. It's like, what is he talking about and what is he saying? Because so I was listening to a live, right? So I popped into the live and I said, do you trust the Quran and do you trust what Allah says? And they said yes. And I've said this before in my life, right? I'm like, well, let's see who trusts Allah the most. Let's see what he says and let's see who agrees with what he just said. And the guy was like, yeah, sure. So I said, well, and I don't remember the verse. No, something about confirming the books or something. So I read that. I said, do you agree that the books are that the books have been confirmed? And the guy's like, yeah, the books have been confirmed. I said, so the scripture that they have with them is being confirmed. He said, yes. Beautiful. I said, so then the scripture that we have today, no, that was corrupted back then. Okay. So you don't accept what Allah just said, That's crazy, man.
Yep.
And the reason for the topic today, guys, just let me jump in there quickly with that. The reason for the topic is, again, I was going to go back to the topic we had yesterday, which was, another checkmate on another Muslim because they can't answer the simple question. But I was listening to another Muslim on his live telling a Christian woman that, she was 9 years old. And this is what Ibn Fibin has been saying now, guys. He says Aisha was married at 9, and then Muhammad waited for her. Ibn Fibn
Oh,
said
you
this
saw
just
that video
yesterday.
too, huh?
Yeah.
He said that
Ooh,
for real?
that dude is such a liar.
Yeah.
He's been saying that for
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget which TikTok video it was at, but I listened to that. I was like, oh man, this dude doesn't. I mean, it's taught in their religion; they're allowed to lie. But man, this
Can
dude is
somebody send that
straight
to
up
me?
lying.
Yeah, I'll see if
I don't know
can
if you
find
guys,
it.
you know,
Yeah, I can.
that's crazy, man.
He actually, and he's talking to a pastor or a priest or something, saying that is a lie. He was married. He married at 9, and he only waited till she was physically and mentally ready for him to penetrate her. This is Ibn Fibn.
What? Oh my God. It's like every day, bro. It's like, oh my God, bro. Like I get a headache just listening to
Yep.
that, man. Like that is crazy.
So that's
Yeah.
why
I mean,
I thought we need to expose it again.
yep. This is good. This is why, like, it was a while ago. It was a couple years, I don't know, a year or a couple years ago. On like, when it really started getting into it on Clubhouse, I had to take a break because I was like, man, is this like this? They're allowed to lie about their religion, and we're just trying to be honest and trying to spread their religion. But if they're allowed to lie about their religion, they have an advantage. And so
Exactly.
I got into like a sad, depressed state about spreading the gospel. Then I came back and I was like, no, I got to study more than ever. And now, like, all the brothers and sisters I'm working with, seeing fruit, and it's just been amazing. So I don't know.
Well,
This past year has been amazing.
well, see, that's the thing, like that I've learned when doing this. Like, this is why in the scriptures, Jesus sent them out in groups of two. He didn't ever like, okay, you guys just go by yourself. Like, because we strengthen and we encourage each other. Because imagine, like, you talk to people who lie for a living. Like this guy went up there and said Aisha was married at 9 and then he waited. But all of the hadith material and literature says he married her at 6 and had intercourse with her at 9. Like, oh my God, bro, that is insane. I can't believe he said that.
So funny enough, on another live, the guy said, "Show me where Muhammad said she was 6 and penetrated at 9." And the guy said, "Well, Aisha said it." He says, "No, she was 6 years old. How could she remember or even write it down herself?" So he
It never
refused to
said,
accept
bro,
that.
what?
I'm not joking, dude.
You can't be serious, bro.
I swear, this was this morning on Somali Live, on the Somali Christian Church.
Oh my God. They're assuming that she wrote the hadith when she was 6. What?
So one
She
of the
wrote
guys
the
said that.
hadith later.
One of the guys said, "Well, she didn't write it then, she wrote it later." And he says, "Well, how did she know how old she was?" You can't make this up, dude.
But what's crazy is if they throw out that hadith, first of all, they have no grounds based on hadith science to say that Aisha, her narrations are daif. They have no grounds to say that. Second, almost more than half of their hadith, a good portion of their hadith, are narrated by Aisha. That's why bro. Oh my God, bro, I'm getting upset just listening to this.
And we haven't
Like,
even started.
like why lie? Like well, obviously I know why, but I'm just saying, like, just talk about something else. Like, that is crazy, man.
So just a quick, today I'm a bit under the weather. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I feel I'm got something happening in the throat and the head. But, I thought I'll just go live anyways instead of just feeling sorry for myself. So we got Hello Baka. Are you there?
I'm a little sick as well, James. I don't know what happened. I woke up this morning with a lump in my throat.
No, you must be sad.
I
I said something to my wife today, right? So I don't know. I say weird things sometimes. And I said something and she just started laughing and she's laughing. She says, sometimes, when I'm in the office, she'll say, "I can hear you when you're there and you say some of the weirdest things. Aren't these people like wondering if you're okay? Because you'll say," she says, "you say stuff about the Kaaba and getting dizzy and these people sitting on top of it and stuff." She doesn't remember all of them. And she's like laughing and she's like, "Where do you come from with this stuff?"
I mean, is she able to hear them respond to you? Like, is she able
Nada,
to
she
hear the
closes the door. She doesn't want anything to do with this religion, like
Yeah,
zero. She
but
had her full, like, when I'm done, I can't go back and say to her, do you know what a Muslim said today? She's like, not interested, don't care. She said, if to be a
yeah,
Muslim in 2025, if you're still a Muslim, then there's something wrong with you. That you just can't say to me. She says, I
Yeah.
don't want to listen to them.
got
You
it.
know,
Yeah. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to my voice message. So yesterday, bro, it was so crazy. I had completely so I saw the notification that you went live, and I was talking to this dude, so I was getting ready to come over, but then more people kept coming up, and we just kept having to engage with them. By the time we were done with the live, you were done. But um, wanted to tell you about like the thing that Life came up with. I don't know if you've seen the lives that he's done on the
99.9992.
yeah. Like, do you know how he got that number?
Yeah, with all the 125,000 prophets.
Right. So what's crazy is like, so I did a calculation. So basically it's saying that some people say that that hadith is da'if. Some people say it's sahih. It just depends on who you talk to on what day, if it's raining or if it's sunny. But I was like, so I had looked up the um the stats of getting struck by lightning. So because somebody, I think it was Oz, he said something in the comments one day about getting struck by lightning. So I actually looked up the stats.
Yeah.
Apparently, at any given day, at any given time, 2,000 people per year get struck by lightning just randomly. So I converted that into a percent, and it was something like 0.00646 or something like that. It was some really, really small number, or 0.00464, something like that. So I ended up comparing that to the number that Islam could be true, given the 124,000 prophets, and their number is 0.0008% verifiable. Did you know that you are 8 times more likely to get struck by lightning randomly at any given day, at any given time, than Islam being true since its inception?
Yeah, it's more
Bro,
chance of winning the lottery as well.
exactly. So when we started presenting these numbers, like, because these are the numbers they give us. So when we started presenting the numbers to them, they just kept coming up screaming, manifesting. Bro, at 2 points, and DJ was there, at 2 points, the Muslims started saying that math was wrong. They said math was wrong. So even math is corrupted now. Like, bruh. So
Yeah.
we got to do that topic
Can't
one
trust
day,
that
bro.
Christian math.
Yeah, bro. Calculators are Christians now, guys, apparently.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
racist as well.
Yep.
But yeah, now
So,
watching that, because after I saw that, I went in and I was looking at the chances of winning the lottery. And you got more chance of winning the Euro jackpot the European jackpot than you would have if you won if Islam was spot on.
man, it's just crazy, this religion, bro. But now you see why they have to lie. Now you see why they have to come up and say that, she was married at 9 and then he waited until, and just out of curiosity, what age did he give that he consummated with her?
No, he didn't. He just said he waited.
He waited.
He waited until she was
Ambiguous,
physically and
deceitful.
mentally prepared.
Yeah. So, he must be like, at least 17, 18,
Yeah. I'll
That's
see if I
the
can
perception
find it.
he'll give.
Yeah. The reason why I asked the age is because if he was to give an age in which he did consummate, then that means that it was written down somewhere for him to have said that. But if he doesn't give an age, it proves that he's making it up, that there is no source that says that.
What's his
No,
name
but
again?
it's a purposeful like deception, because for us, reasonable human beings, being ready is like, oh, okay, at least you know 17, 18. Yeah, I mean, but that's still disgusting because he's a mid 50-year-old man.
Right.
But deceitful message.
That's right. That's right. So just let me say to overrate. Normal is overrated. He says, without lies, Islam dies. Exactly. So Ibn Uthman.
Yep. Man, that's crazy, man. I cannot believe he said that. Like, oh man.
Yo, mind if I take a couple minutes as far as the number 3 slavery section goes, and I'll try to make this quick, James, unless if that's all right with you.
Absolutely, bro.
Okay, so we have Islam teaching the 2-for-1 Black Friday sale. Trade 2 black slaves for one, like an Arab slave or something like that. And Muhammad owned slaves, and so he's promoting slavery, but apparently he's the best of all mankind. Meanwhile, we have Christ teaching in Luke 4:18, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to the captives, recovering of the sight to the blind, to set as liberty to those who are oppressed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." And even the one, they hate Paul. But this is what Paul teaches in Philemon chapter 1, verse 15 and 17. "For perhaps this is why you separated from you for a while, so that you might have him back for good, no longer as a slave, but better than a slave, as a beloved brother.
Brother. Yep.
He is especially beloved to me, but even more so to you, both in person and in the Lord. So if you consider me a partner, receive him as you would receive me." And now I'd like to go into like a church father quotes real quick. This is from St. Gregory of Nyssa. He lived in 335 to 395 AD, and this is how Christianity became the linchpin on how like slavery was ended, because of the Bible's writings and church father writings. And this is what he said: "I obtained servants and maidens. What are you saying? You condemn man who is free and autonomous to servitude. And you contradict God by perverting the natural law.
Mm-hmm.
You have forgotten the limit of your authority, which consists in jurisdiction over brutish animals." And going a little bit further down, "Tell me, who is the person who sells and buys? Only God can do this. However, it does not pertain to him at all, for the gifts of God are irrevocable, because God called human nature to freedom, which had become addicted to sin. He would not subject it to servitude again." And he's quoting Genesis 1:26, because everyone is made in the image of God. In the last section, I'll quote, this is what it says: "How can we properly estimate earth as an entirety, as well as all its contents, if these things are inestimable? Tell me, how much greater is man's value who is over them? If you mention the entire world, you discover nothing equivalent to man's honor. He who knows human nature says that the world is not an adequate exchange for man's soul. When the Lord of the earth bought man, he acquired nothing more precious. Nothing in creation is more precious than buying humankind's soul."
Can you send those to me?
Yeah, I mean it's in my last actually it's in my last video on
I
my
didn't even
TikTok
notice.
video.
TikTok is weird. Like whenever you guys post videos, I never see them.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't make it like directly to you. You have to go to your like friends thing and whatnot. But yeah, it's in my last TikTok video.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I'll definitely check that out.
So
I'm
let
gonna
me
mute it
just
for a minute or two.
just quickly to Amin. Hi, Amin. This is from Holy Jesus on the thing.
What's going on, bro?
So here we go. Listen carefully to this.
Abraham, Muhammad was with that same? Of course. Even with a 6-year-old bride? Okay, so let's talk about that. Aisha radiallahu anha, first off, she was not married at 6, right? They were engaged. I got you. Let me speak, right? Yeah. At 9, they got married and they waited And again, there is some difference in narrations about the exact age, but let's take 9. They waited until she was physically mature, according to the custom of the time, and her physical body ready for consumption of marriage, right?
You
Wow.
see why without lies Islam dies? Not even joking.
Oh, God, bro.
This is how
Like, notice
filthy
what he said.
these people are.
Like, notice the tactics, because everybody knows this who debates, right? Like, and unfortunately, this is just the truth of the situation. People think debating is equivalent to knowledge. It's not. When you debate somebody, there are methods, there's tactics, there's ways that you do it that are not equivalent to you actually knowing what you're talking about. This is why you can watch a debate between two people, and one person can be an absolute idiot, but the other people watching will come away thinking that he won, like Zakir Naik or Ahmed Didat or any of these other clowns on this app that debate. The reason why is because debating has technique. Notice as you listen to how Uthman ibn Farouk was talking to the guy initially starts off saying, hold on, Aisha was 6. Can you explain that to me? He said, no. She was 9. And then notice what he said. He said there seems to be some kind of differences between them, but let's just say that she was 9. That is a debating tactic to get you, it's leading you into his presupposition. What he should have done immediately when he said that was stop. Show me the narration where it says she was 9. Show me the consensus amongst the scholars that agree that she was 9 and not 6. But because Uthman debates people constantly, he's learned techniques. And unfortunately, most people are not debaters, and that's okay. You don't have to be a debater. Most people would not have caught that. But because we do this every day, we catch it. I would have stopped him right then and there. Show me the source. I want the source. These people are filthy, bruh. That is
What?
horrible.
Filthy
Watch
liars,
this now.
man.
But watch this. He does an immediate switcheroo. As soon as he says that, listen to this.
Now, if you look at Mary, how old was she when she married Joseph?
Boom. See what he did there? He shifted it as quick as possible. He took it. He's like, oh, hang on. Let's move on from Aisha now. Let's just focus on Mary, and then we'll run to Rebecca. See, this is, again, as Amin just said, guys, the tactic of a Muslim is deceit. It's show you the one hand while the other hand is doing something else. So what they're doing now is that they're taking the topic of Aisha and they're hiding this topic and saying, but it's okay. Just, well, what about Mary? Now he's talking to a pastor. The pastor is obviously going to defend and forget about, because this is what because we've done this so many times, we know that when they start deflecting, there's a reason for that, but we catch it too quick. We quick on that one. We'll stop them in their tracks. We'll be like, hang on a second, show me the evidence. So when the guy on the live earlier today said, yes, she was 16 when she got married, Babylon said, well, give me proof. Show it to me. He says, well, I have the proof. I'll have to leave the app to find it. Babylon said, I'll wait for you. It's okay. You go. I got you. And he's like, well, it'll take too long. I read it this morning. So Babylon's like, yeah, well, we can wait for you. Go. It's okay. We'll wait for you.
Yeah.
He didn't leave, and he didn't find it either. He switched, and he tried to make it.
I mean,
just liars, man. Just liars.
I mean, and anybody, because even where I'm from, they've got I'm not the city where I live, they have the gala tables, and even the Jehovah Witnesses come out and do their little thing. And if you notice with cults, this is what they do. The Jehovah Witnesses are infamous for this. What they'll immediately start doing is they'll either try to shoo you away, or they'll say, go to the website and look at this article or read this. With the Muslims, notice what they do. Their method of shooing is, I'm not a scholar. I'm not a scholar. But you're the one out here trying to give da'wah. So if you're not a scholar, then why are you bringing up these topics? What, the reason why is because they like to throw poop on the wall and just hope that it sticks. Imagine
Amen.
you gotta imagine
They're
you gotta
scholars on the Bible, but not scholars according to Islam.
exactly. Imagine you have 100 people walk past their table, right? How like what is the percentage of Christians do you think would actually know how to catch them in these lies? Probably about out of 100 Christians, maybe five, maybe five. The other 95 Christians are probably just regular people. They could care less about Islam, or they probably have Muslim friends, but they never really read the Quran. The same situation goes here on this app, man. How many Christians go up on these lives, bro, these Muslim lives, and they try to refute the Muslims and they get sucked into the trap? Oh, let's talk about the Trinity. How is Jesus? And they don't even know what it is. Like, guys, please, you have to educate yourself, man. This is because these people, this is how people convert to this sick, wicked religion.
I'll say this as well. Try to get a topic, get to know the topic well, like really well. When you pass these tables and they want to tell you about how Islam is fantastic and how you should leave Jesus, say to them, listen, I have this one topic. And if they try to deflect, you say, no, listen, I want to talk about this one thing, and stick to the one thing, have a verse or two, and then watch how they start lying. Now, Normal is overrated, sent another sticker, and he says the 5 Ds of dawah are to deceive, deny, deflect, distrust, and destroy. That says it all.
Yep. You know, yesterday when we were on Life's Live, he said something that was really interesting. And I never really noticed it until you just start engaging with them a little bit more and you look for it. And that's something that I've learned about Islam. It's like reading the Bible in reverse. And I'm saying this just so people understand what I mean. I'm not saying that there's anything holy about Islam, but as Christians, like anybody who's a Christian knows this, you can read the Bible 1,000 times. And every single time you read the Bible, you notice something different. That's how it is when you talk to Muslims. Every single time you talk to a Muslim, you notice something different. It's always a different type of lie. He said that, and James, you weren't there, but DJ would know this. 2 years ago, when we were on Clubhouse, remember when we were running the Islamic Dilemma? It wasn't really as popular as it is today. But when we would talk about it, can you imagine if a Muslim would have came with an argument called conscious edits? All the other Muslims would have laughed at him like, bro, what are you talking about? Like,
They
get
would have
out of
said
here.
that's not the true Injil. What do you mean you're bringing up Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John?
Exactly. They would have said, what are you talking about? Conscious edits? What? No, get out of it, bro. They would have laughed him out the room. Now notice how the Muslims have evolved in 2025. Every single Muslim now is going around talking about conscious edits. We affirm some of the Torah and Injil, but not all of it. Like what? 2 years ago they weren't doing this, but because they have to cope so bad in this religion, every day we learn and we hear a new argument. It's frustrating. It's exhausting, honestly.
Indeed. So I'm giving you both a heads up. I'm working on the topic, Surah 5, 13 and 14. Remember that they run to this verse 13 and 14 to prove that the Bible is corrupted. If you ask anyone, this is where they go, where it says that they breached the covenant that was made with them, and we cursed them and made their hearts hard. Now, I've noticed that a lot of Muslims and a lot of lives are quoting 5:13 and 5:14. Now, because I do what I got to do, I've done the research. And I'm going to have this topic. Is it true what this verse is saying, or are they missing what it actually Allah is trying to say?
That's funny. You know, they always come up and you'll read them a verse and they'll be like, no. What this verse actually means is, so we can't just read it and take it at face value? No, you can't do that. So Allah's the worst communicator in all time, like of all history. Okay, thanks.
Somebody asked me the question, where did I come up with that saying that I say about Christians and Jews will read it word for word and stuff? I think it's like 3 years now I've been saying that. And it still proves to be true to this day. It's funny, it proves to be true to this day that we will read what Allah says, and a Muslim will tell us what he tried to say as opposed to what he just said.
Exactly. I always love when you point that out, because that's this is why, we were talking about earlier, we be clear with our language so it resonates with everybody, and we just read, man. You guys are trying to explain what Allah really means when Allah is supposed to be the best explanation of the Quran. And so I just want to read this hadith, because this is what we're up against. Imagine this is the best of peoples, according to, and this is Sahih al-Bukhari 4557. Okay. It says, you are true believers in Islamic monotheism and real followers of Prophet Muhammad and his sunnah are the best of peoples. So these are the best of peoples ever raised up for mankind. Look. This is the best peoples of mankind. Narrated Abu Huraira. The verse, you true Muslims are the best of peoples ever raised up for mankind, means the best peoples are the people who bring them with chains on their
around
necks
the necks. Yep.
till they embrace Islam.
Yep.
Imagine this. What do you think they're going to do to get you to agree with Islam? They're going to bring chains around your necks to embrace Islam. You think they're not going to lie about their religion? So this is why we just read, we expose Islam, and we just bring the truth of Christ.
I just, for me, like, I love having conversations, especially about the Islamic dilemma or anything involving it, because that, I think, is probably the most clear. Because this topic, and this is a good topic that James has, but it's more so good for the women, because like men, unfortunately, in Islam, what I've noticed, because they don't have this happening to them, they have a seared conscience where it's concerned, and they'll just like throw it to, oh, well, this is just tradition or this is just culture. So it doesn't necessarily affect them too much. But typically, like whenever like I've seen people comment under the videos that James does where this is concerned, it's typically a lot of women. But the Islamic dilemma or anything involving or anything that's tangential to that topic, I really like, because it shows that it is impossible for Islam to be true. It is impossible for it to be true. So what DJ said is true. Like, in order for them to get you to believe against obvious evidence or against your conscience, where this topic that James is doing is concerned, they have to lie. They have to. There's no way that they can be honest about their religion, because if they are, then nobody would join it.
And we've done this topic before, and we've seen them lie, so we know that they do lie. So while he's talking about women, guys, I read this yesterday. I'll read it again today. Somebody sent me a message, and this is what she wrote. She said, hi, James. I just want to let you know my husband is Muslim, and you, thank God, stopped me from taking the same path. Thank you for opening my eyes.
Amen.
So this is why we do what we do, people. It's because it doesn't matter. I don't think I've spoken to her. I don't think she's ever come on the live, but people are listening. And I said to you guys as well, I was invited to a Muslim live a couple of days ago. I get there. I get muted as usual, but I sat there waiting. And they were like, okay, you say this in your life. You have this argument, that argument, that argument, that. They mention all the arguments, meaning that these Muppets are sitting in the back there listening to it. And then they debunking me by themselves in their own rooms without me being there. So when I finally get in there, I'm like, well, let's talk about the topic then. Oh, that's low tier. We don't want to waste our time on a topic like that. Okay. Exactly. So he has a topic on the page. And so I said, well, let's talk about the topic. It's why aren't you a Muslim? So mid-conversation, he changes it to prove that I'm not your God. So it's like me having Amin up over here. The conversation starts, is the Bible true? And the next second I change it to say Aisha was a child. I'm like, hang on a second, you change topics mid-sentence.
You know, just to give you another word of encouragement as well, James. Every now and then I'll go on Clubhouse, and actually, I'm thinking about doing some rooms on Clubhouse, just like Bible studies. I was talking to Study and DL about it, because the other night we were on Words Live, and Albie and me and him were talking late into the night, and we were just going through Isaiah, man, and you know how Albie gets down, so he was just showing me just amazing stuff. So I said, like,
Hey,
I want to start doing like Bible studies again, man, like, because you know you spend 6, 7, 8 hours, in this filth, bro, like you just it messes with your mind. But I was thinking about doing some Bible studies. But while I was on Clubhouse the other day, I was in DL's room. It was like 5 people in there. It wasn't even a lot. Like we were just chilling, and there was a kid on stage, and he said, "Are you Amin?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh wow, man! Like, every morning I listen to you and James, and like I love the stuff that you guys are
wow,
doing. God." And I was like, imagine it's just 5 people in a room. Like we're
glory to
just
God.
talk, and he recognized, and really, James, it's really just you. If I'm just being completely honest with you, like I help when I can, and I do as much as I can with my schedule. But you're on the front lines every single day, bro. Up here preaching the gospel to these people, and you're able to see change, and you see how it affects people. And bear in mind, these are people that don't come on our stage; they just listen. So, like I just wanted to tell you that. That's for like some
I
words of
appreciate it,
encouragement
man.
for you.
I was gonna say, well, there was a guy from Nigeria, I think it was, and he said that he lives in a block of flats.
Yeah.
And he said the way he got introduced to me was someone in the block of flats said to him, "You need to come listen to this guy on YouTube, YouTube, I think it was, or TikTok." He said, "You need to listen to that." So he came up on the live and actually said, "You know what? I was introduced to you by a guy in a block of flat that listens to you." And he came down and told me I need to listen to you in the mornings. So that was
Yeah.
like, wow, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Talking of the
They
Bible study, just quickly with the Bible study. So I've actually
yeah.
done an Isaiah 42, Isaiah 42. I've done a cross reference for each verse in Isaiah 42. This is up until 16, with Old Testament. And then I did Isaiah 42
Wow.
with New Testament verses. So for example, if you go to Isaiah 42:1, it talks about how he descended from Jesse through David. And then it tells you in Jeremiah, it explains it in Jeremiah. If you go to 42:2, it explains it in Isaiah 49:3-5. And this is now Old Testament. But I also did, for example, Jeremiah 42:1, where it's found in Luke and in Acts. 42:2, where it's found in Matthew and in Mark. So I've done the research. Because I don't just talk Islam. I may do it over here, but after I'm done or before, I'm trying my best. I'm really trying my best to be a better person, to
Wait,
open
wait,
the Bible and to
James.
learn.
I remember you also did Psalm 23. I
Yeah.
was in that live listening to that breakdown, and it was an awesome breakdown.
Yep.
So I've done a lot of verses with like proper breakdowns, but it's for the right audience. And again, with us, we'll know when to cast our pearls. Put it that way.
Like the thing that I've learned about it, and I'm just like the more I do this, even the older I get. And I mean it just is what it is. Like I've tried, like, and you guys have known me for a while, like especially on Clubhouse and even on this app, like gone in Muslim lives and went up there and talked to them, panel full of Muslims. And I just eventually, like, I just start crashing out, bro. Like I cannot, like, it's funny. This morning I turn on the app, right? Because I was checking to see if you were live. And you know how like there's the thing at the bottom where it says like friends or something like that, and it shows you the videos that people you follow post. Um and the first video that popped up was somebody clipped Avery. right? He was on this Muslim live talking to this dude. So the guy is, and it just, bro, it's even making me mad now, bro. The guy is trying to say, he's saying that Matthew chapter 7, verse 15 through 21 is not saying that Jesus is Lord. It's saying that he's like some like term of endearment or something. Like, I'm just listening to it, and Atheist just cool as a cute. He's not bothered by it. He's just like, well, let's try to look at it this way. And have you thought about it? And no, that can't be true. Bro, I couldn't even make it halfway through the video, bro. I had to just turn it off because I'm just like, how do you guys twist scripture so bad to where you even confuse yourself now? Because I'm watching it and Avery's explaining it to him, and he's like, well, no, like, I didn't initially say that. You said that. And I'm like, you just said it. Like, so for me, like, I know like my bandwidth is so low, bro. Like,
Well, I love it when people in the chat start taking bets and see how long it's going to take before you crash out.
bro, I can't do it, man. Like, so what I'm thinking about doing is, you know, like I'll help out with the brothers here on this app as much as I can, or if anybody needs anything on their lives. But I'm also thinking about doing more, like I said, more stuff on Clubhouse and just doing Bible studies. Like no debating, just talking about theology, probably mainly theology, because that's what I love to do. And DJ, he knows this. When you read the church fathers, they quote the Old Testament ad nauseum. Like they were able to prove everything just from the Old Testament alone. They hardly ever quoted like, I mean, they did quote the Gospels, but not as much as they did like the Old Testament. So,
do you guys use the Satana app?
no, I just buy the books.
Well, you can use an app where you can
Yeah.
go to each verse in the Bible and then see what the church father says.
Well, yeah, you're talking about
Satana, I think it is.
yeah,
Cetana.
Yeah, it's like it's red and
Yeah.
I have it, but
Yeah.
for some reason I can't connect if it's like on screen. I don't know what it is. Like I have to get the book, but I do use it like just every now and then for cross references.
So quickly, just as from LA Apologetics, people, LA Apologetics, give him a follow on YouTube as well. Subscribe to his channel. He gave us a beautiful good morning. He says, God bless you, James, Amin, and DJ. Keep working the front lines and glorifying the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Thank you and keep up the great work. Appreciate you, brother. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. So people, go to his LA Apologetics on YouTube. Subscribe, please, guys. Subscribe. The site is called I'll tell you now. I'll show it to you as well if you want. Let me just go there. So it's CATENA. CATENA.
Tatina, I think is what it is, or something like that.
Yeah.
Katina Bible. It's also with I mean, you could get Amazon Church Father books so easily, like, and so cheap on Amazon Kindle. That's what I have is Amazon Kindle, and so you can find that pretty easily on there.
By the way,
Yeah,
guys,
guys,
I just want to say, James, I've spoken with Ibrahim before. He's very nice. He's not one of these Muslims that will scream and do all of this stuff. So he will listen to you. So you know, I'm just letting you know, like we don't have to. Hopefully, Ibrahim, how are you doing, bro?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I really appreciate that. You know, like you say good things about me. Thank you very much. You are a good person as well.
I mean, it's true. Like the last time we had a conversation, you were very cordial. So I'm just letting you know, like Ibrahim, as long as you allow James to speak or allow us to speak, and then we can go back and forth. It doesn't have to get heated, but you know, I just wanted to let James know. So I'll let you guys talk.
Thank you very much. I mean,
are you still a Muslim, Ibrahim?
Yes.
Okay. So the topic is, which one of these is wrong? is wrong in Islam. Only one of them is wrong, meaning the three others are allowed under normal circumstances.
No, I would say the answer is, all of them are wrong.
Okay. So this is normal, right? Normally people would say that these are all wrong. And can I ask you, why do you think that these are all wrong? Are any of them good?
No, none of them, none of them good. And about eating pork, it's just a command that, God order us not to eat pork. But other than, the 3 points on top are really horrible. So that's why they are wrong.
Okay, so would you say that beating your wife is evil?
Of course, yes.
And evil comes from someone evil, correct?
Evil comes from, yeah.
Okay. So the problem with and my brother, I think I've spoken to you before. So all we do is read. For example, in your Quran, does it say that you're allowed to beat your wife?
I know one verse that it mentioned in it, وَاضْرِبُوهُنَّ in Arabic, which is, so basically if you just read the translating, it will say, it will, yes, mean beating. But if you go through the tafsir and if you read about the story of Prophet Muhammad, so basically he has never beat any wife, and he has so many wives. And
let's go slowly now. According to the verse, before we go anywhere, you said you agree that the verse does say that if you fear disobedience, that you must admonish, banish, and beat your wife. You agree that the verse says that?
Yes, word by word. Yes.
Beautiful. But you said beating your wife is evil, and evil comes from someone evil. So if it's evil, who is the one that gave us this verse?
I know what you will say, that this verse, it's a word of Allah. It's a word.
I know, but you agree that the verse is an evil verse. It's not a good verse.
No, yes, but I agreed with you if you take the translating word by word. But if you go to the tafsir, then you will find different thing. You will find that ad-darb, it could mean something else. It could mean, I can hit someone very harsh, and I can hit someone with very light. And it could mean, and the tafsir said that beating the wife, it's not exist, because if we take an example and a role model, we take Muhammad. And Muhammad, he didn't it's never mentioned that he has beaten a wife.
Can I show you that he beat Aisha?
Yes, if you have an example, go on. Yeah.
Sure. So I'm going to show you now from a hadith. First, the verse is telling us the reason for revelation for the verse is because a woman was beaten by her husband. This is the Asbab al-Nusul. She was beaten by her husband and she wanted retaliation. So he beat her, he slapped her across the face, and they go to Muhammad. This is why 434 came to Muhammad, that beating your wife is allowed. That's the reason. I'll show that to you in a second, but I'm going to show you from here, from the hadith. So here's a hadith. Let me just zoom out a bit over here.
Is it from Bukhari or Muslim?
Sahih Muslim.
Sahih Muslim. Yeah.
Okay. Book 4, hadith 2127. Right, so that's the hadith number. There it is there. So it's talking about when Aisha, Muhammad was in bed, and he gets up and he leaves the bed, and Aisha runs and follows him. Right, so watch this. He took hold of the mantle. Must I read the whole thing or just get to the point?
It's better if you read the whole, and not the whole thing, you know, the story out of it.
Okay, let's see. So it says, I'll just go from here. He stood there. Let me just hang on a second. This is where he leaves the house. So he took hold of the mantle. Let me highlight this so you can see. He took hold of the mantle slowly and put on the shoe slowly and opened the door and went out and then closed it tightly. I covered my head. This is Aisha. Put on my veil and tightened my waist wrapper, and then went out following his footsteps till he reached Baki. He stood there, and he stood for a long time. He then lifted his hands 3 times, then returned, and I also returned. He hastened his steps, and I also hastened my steps, meaning they started walking faster. He ran, so I ran. He came to the house, and I came to the house. I, however, preceded him and entered the house. As I lay down in the bed, he, Muhammad, entered the house and said, "Why is it, O Aisha, that you are out of breath?" I said, "There is nothing." He said, "Tell me, or the subtle and the aware would inform me." I said, "Messenger of Allah, may my father and my mother be ransom for you." Then I told him the whole story. He said, "Was it the darkness of your shadow that I saw in front of me?" I said, "Yes." He struck me on the chest, which caused me pain, and said, "Do you think that Allah and his apostle would not deal unjustly with you?" So the point of it all is the part where he struck her on the chest and caused her pain. So in this hadith, we see that Muhammad strikes Aisha, his wife. And this is in accordance. Now, the other verse we went to, 434, it says you can beat them. And if you look at the tafsir and the explanation of the tafsir by Wahidi, he actually says that a man slapped his wife. So the man slapped his wife and she wanted retaliation. But what does Allah Muhammad say? He says, "We wanted something, but my Lord wanted something different." Because Muhammad was going to say, it's okay, you can't beat your wife. But then Allah said, that's not what we want. Allah saying clearly, we want you to beat your wife.
You know, regarding the hadith that you brought up, yeah, I have so many hadiths that even Aisha admitted that I haven't never seen the Prophet Muhammad during the whole life. He didn't beat any of his women.
Well,
So,
my man, so far this verse is Sahih Muslim and it's Aisha talking, right?
yeah,
So this isn't a me problem.
but
This is an
James,
Islam problem.
yeah, but James, you need to understand thing, yeah. So basically, and this is with respect, if you need to bring a topic about any religion, it's not about Islam, maybe in, yeah, any religion, if you need to bring a topic, you just, you bring one evidence which support your point, but you forget so many evidence that, against your point. And this is, it's not good. I would call it, cherry picking,
Well,
because
well,
yeah,
Ibrahim, let's look at it this way though. So you and I both know that there are hadith that contradict the Quran. Like they exist, and then these hadith are either weakened to Hasan or Da'if or whatever. The hadith that you bring up about Muhammad not striking his wife, I'm assuming those are sahih, right?
yeah.
Okay. And the hadith that James just brought about Muhammad striking his wife is sahih. So now the question becomes, which one of these hadith actually agrees with the Quran? And this is why we started with the Quran first, because the hadith come much later. We don't have to go to the hadith, but if we have to, we can. But the Quran itself says you can do it. Now, is Muhammad Allah?
No, of
Of
course he's
course
a,
not.
yeah,
Of
he's a
course not.
human
Right.
being.
Okay. So then the question becomes, forget about, just for a second, forget about Muhammad. If we're talking about the Quran and the Quran says you can do it, then is that not a problem?
It is a problem, but as I said, and I mean, you understand, you have a good knowledge, like in Arabic language. Yeah. So basically, it said وَضْرِبُوهُنَّ. Like darb, it could be, like there are level of, like the beating, and the tafsir never, like support that, like a darb, that, like using
Tafsir
any
does.
And
physical, any
it
physical.
does. So Ibrahim and عارف بس مش هنا يعني we know this from the Sayyah, صح? From the context. So if you look at the word وَيَضْرُبَهُنَّ, that's a command, right? It's in command form, and strike her. Really, in معنا بالإنجليزية نفس الشيء strike. مش beat. يعني, it's not like beat, really. It's strike. So it doesn't say how many times you strike her or whatever. It just says you can. So, but it's in a command form. It says, and da 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 كده وكده كده وكده. Then it says وَاضْرِبْهُنَّ, and strike her. So we know from the context that it's talking about an actual strike. And you even agreed with us in the beginning. You said, yes, it says that. So if you want to go to the reason as to why it was revealed, if you want to go to the Isbab and the Zul, I think James has it. And it tells you why it was revealed. James, I don't know if you have it because I'm in the car
I've
right
got it
now.
over, yeah, so watch this. Let me just show you Jalalain first. So Jalalain says, and share not your beds with them, retire to other bed, and if they manifest such disobedience, and strike them. Now it says doesn't strike them violently, but it says strike them. As Amin just said, if we go down here for the reason for revelation, as I said, it's about a man that beat his wife. It happened that Saad hit his wife on the face because she rebelled against him. So a man hits his wife on the face. So it's not, just him. He struck her. And then Allah says that you can strike your wife if you fear disobedience. But my brother Ibrahim, the reason that I'm saying that is because you have a better heart, because as you said at the start, that beating your wife is evil. It's a bad thing. It's not a good thing. Even if you're trying, she's a wife. She's not your child. And
Of
as a
course,
wife, you're
and
supposed to treat her with love and respect, correct?
yeah, and I am still, have the same opinion. But James, what I was saying that, and he's maybe outside the app now, but he can support me, because my English is not very good, but he can support me. There's so many hadiths, and if you look at when Islam came historically, it came in, like Jaziratul Arab, so where the Arab Bedouin were, and they had at that time very, like very bad treatment for the woman in general. So basically, if someone had, like a daughter, at that time they used to, like bury her alive, and they used to, like treat her
I
very bad.
understand all that, my brother, but there's all the
Yeah,
hadiths.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
wrote in the search, a man beats his wife. It says, no man shall be asked for the reason of beating his wife. Then it goes on, I just got them all here. It says, the Prophet forbade laughing at the one who passes wind. How does any one of you beat his wife as he beats the stallion and his camel? Right? So it says, and then embraces with her. So Hisham said, as he beats his slave. So it's telling you, now I'm not saying your hadith is not there. All I'm saying is that your hadith is hidden in all these other hadiths that are telling you that you can beat. So here's the one you wanted. The Messenger of Allah said, never beat any of his servants or his wives. But this goes against Sahih Muslim that says he did beat his wife. It goes against the Quran that allows you to beat your wife. So my question is, if we go back to the Quran,
No, James, please, with respect, we don't need to to go back and forth in in the same verse, because I need Amin to help me bring in another some
what
a
other
few.
languages do you speak? Do you speak Arabic?
Yeah, Arabic. Yeah.
That's it? Arabic and English?
Yes, Arabic and English. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean,
English, it's 60%, I would say. It's
no
not
worries, brother. Well,
fluent.
listen, you're doing a great job.
I mean, that's
It's more
pretty
than
cool.
my Arabic.
Yeah, Ibrahim, you're doing great.
um
Oh, go ahead.
إبراهيم آسف بس أنا مشغول شوية بس بكل صراحة الإنجليزية بتاعك كويس جدا ما شاء الله من yeah I mean it's fine bro but for this live هذه لايف من هنا ورايح آسف من هنا ورايح أنا أتكلم بالإنجليزية علشان الناس في الشات مش فاهمة.
Okay, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, you can keep talking in English.
Okay.
No problem.
But if you need like لو أنت محتاج بالضبط كده. If you need that, then I can, but I may not be able to do it as fast because I just got to work. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you need to speak Droll, or I have?
Yeah, I was just going to share this hadith. This was such a common practice according to Islam, because I wanted to share this hadith. This is Sahih al-Bukhari. Sorry if it's blurry. Sahih al-Bukhari 4608, and this is what it says. Narrated Aisha, a necklace of mine was lost at al-Baida, and we were on our way to Medina. The Prophet made his camel kneel down and dismounted and laid his head on my lap and slept. Abu Bakr. Now, if you guys can remind me, who is Abu Bakr?
Her father.
Right. Abu Bakr came to me and hit me violently on the chest and said, "You have detained the people of the necklace." I kept as motionless as a dead person because of the position of Allah's messenger on my lap, although Abu Bakr had hurt me with the slap. Then Prophet woke up, and it was time for the morning prayer. So this was such a common practice back then. So even Abu Bakr hurt Aisha with this strike.
One more, my brother, and then I'm going to let you just have at it. But watch this. One more, and this again to show you it is a common practice. This again is Sahih Bukhari 5825. Sahih Bukhari 5825. Rifa divorced his wife. Thereupon Abu Rahman bin Zubair blah blah married her. Aisha said that the lady wearing a green veil and complained to her, Aisha, of her husband and showed her a green spot on her skin caused by beating. It was the habit of the ladies to support each other. So when Allah's apostle came, Aisha said, I have not seen any woman suffering as much as the believing woman. Look, her skin is greener than her clothes. So all we're doing now, my man, is just to show you that this was a common practice. It was allowed. No one jumped in and said stop, because what did I just read in the hadith? That says no man shall be asked as to why he beats his wife. So when the verse came along, this again was in line with what these people were already doing. So my question is, so far, if I had to say which one of these is wrong in Islam, the Quran confirms and you confirm that yes, wife beating is allowed. Whether Muhammad did it or not, that's a different question. I say, and Aisha said he did, but then we go back and we see that he didn't. But that doesn't take away from what the Quran is telling us.
Okay, yeah. So basically, the things that confused me in this topic, because during my life, I just read, like Prophet Muhammad, a lot of hadiths that, um, given advice to the believers that please take care of the woman, and this is what was his last, last, let's say, advice or command. أوصيكم بالنساء خيرا, which is, like, please take care of the woman. And he said three times أمك ثم أمك ثم أمك, which is, like,
Right.
your mom and your mom and your mom,
I
then
got you, my
your
brother. I
dad,
got you. But
your
listen
dad.
again. Listen again. What doesn't matter what Muhammad said. It's what the Quran says too.
No, it does
Do
matter,
you
because
do
you
you
just
agree?
saying
Okay,
and I
watch
did
this.
that.
Just before we move out, do you agree so far that the Quran, not the other Allah, but the real Allah, not Muhammad, because we don't want to think Muhammad is not the God of Islam. Allah is the God of Islam. According to the verse in the Quran, do you agree that the Quran says that you can strike your wife?
Brother, what I agree, if someone misunderstand and misinterpret the verse, he will understand beating is, yes, strike a wife and, like, hit it hard
Does
and
it
this
mean
stuff.
that or doesn't it mean that? Just so you can tell me, what does to strike your wife mean?
When I read the tafsir,
Mm-hmm.
it means, like, maybe have two different meanings. One of them, like strike slightly, and one of them just leave them alone,
Okay.
like
So if it's
اهجرهم.
strike lightly, are you still striking your wife?
Yeah, but this will never
So
count,
watch this,
like,
Ibrahim.
as no, no,
If I
but this.
strike you, it might be different to if Holyfield strikes you or Mike Tyson strikes you. So you can't say to me that yes, you can strike her lightly, but people react differently to the different types of striking. But it doesn't say anywhere in the verse to strike them lightly. It says to strike them. Now, my question one more time. If you had to, I read you Jalalain. Jalalain says that if they manifest and such disobedience, strike them. Jalalain. The reason for revelation by Wahidi tells you again that the reason the verse came down was because a woman was hit on the face and she wanted retaliation. So, according to the two, Jalalain and Wahidi, the reason for revelation, and the word, Waidribhuna, is telling you that someone was struck, correct?
Well, yeah, what you read, yes, it was there, yeah, and
So,
Sahih.
my last question would be, does the Quran say that you can physically strike your wife?
واضربوهن physically. You said physically.
Physically, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I'm stuck, to be honest with you,
No
because
worries, brother. No worries. I'm
um,
not going to force you on that, man. Listen, I want you just to think about it. I want you to, at some point, go and be honest with yourself and see what reason for revelation. Read the Asbab Nuzul, see what it says. Go and ask yourself the verse that I gave you when it came to Aisha being struck in the chest, the verse where it says no one should be asked as to why they beat their wives, the one that says that the women were beaten so badly that they were greener than their clothes. Again, we'll skip that one.
okay.
Let's skip that one. I will
Okay.
leave that one as unsolved. How's that?
Yeah, no problem. But just one last comment on this one. So yeah, as I explained, and you might know because you are, like, you have a good, like, knowledge, and I would say you have good looked at some Islamic topics. So you just as well think, why why Muhammad, in his last speech said, أوصيكم بالنساء خيرا, take care of the woman, and أمك ثم أمك, and رفقا بالقوارير, and
I've thought of that. Can I tell you why? Can I tell you why he says that?
Yeah,
And who he's talking about?
Then
If you read the verse, it
then
tells
the
you
woman
who.
is protected.
Yeah, but watch this. He's only talking about the righteous woman. He says in the verse, in the Quran, it says, righteous women are therefore obedient. So if your mother's not righteous, if your wife is not righteous, if your daughter's not righteous, if your sister's not righteous, then you have to discipline them. But if they are righteous, you leave them alone. If they're not, and you fear that they may be disobedient, that's when you admonish them, banish them, and beat them.
I will, I will disagree with you, James, because you said if they are not righteous. However, in Islam, there is a clear verse when it says, even if your parents, tell you to disobey God, فلا تطعهما, don't obey them, but وصاحبهما في الدنيا معروفة, but be a friend with them, or so basically it didn't say go and fight with your parents if they tell you to do
No, but
shit
it says,
or anything.
but when it says it, when it talks about that, it tells you that you can't be friends with your parents, so you must walk away from them. You cannot be friends, even if it's your parents, and they are trying to take you away from Allah. So if your parents, for example, are Christians, they are still going to be kafirs, and you can't be friendly with them.
No, it's literally the verse said you need to be a friend. وصاحبهما في الدنيا معروفة. So you have to keep checking them. You have to from here and there ask them.
In Surah 9:23, it says you must abandon them.
What's abandon mean? Please,
to leave them, to walk away from them, to ignore them.
No, disobey them, but disobey them just in this term.
Watch this. It says in Surah 9:23, it says, "O you who believed, do not take your fathers or your brothers as allies if they have preferred disbelief over belief. And whoever does so among you, then it is those who are the wrongdoers, who are the evildoers." So your own Quran is telling you that you must turn your back on your family if they are disbelievers, even if it's your father, even if it's your mother.
إبراهيم هذه كلمة يعني بالإنجليزية المعنى abandon باللهجة المصرية بشكل عام يسيب
Oh,
like
left, يترك.
yeah.
But I mean, the verse وإن جاهداك على أن تشرك بي ما ليس لك به علم فلا تطعهما وصاحبهما. This is, that means keep have a friendly relationship with your parents even if they are not believers.
أنا عاصم عن هذه الآية في القرآن، بس بكل صراحة يعني في موجود في القرآن اختلاف كتير. يعني this is what we're saying. There's so many differences and so many contradictions when we read the Quran and when we read the Hadith. So this is what James is trying to explain to you. You can read one verse of the Quran, but then when you look at another verse, it says the complete opposite. So then it's like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do? How do we understand this? This is why James was saying, if you, like, for instance, for 434, when we were reading it and it said وَأَدْرُبَهُنَّ, you went to the tafsir and they gave you اختلاف كمان. بس المعنى بالانجلش وأدربهن الكلمة جسديا, physically, جسديا, it's physical, bro. None of them say that it's physical. So this is the problem that we're saying. If you want to go to the tafsir, that's fine. But really what you ought to do is just stick with what the Quran says. And then if need be, we can go to, Izdad and Nuzul. But when we just read it for what it says, this is the problem we have. And then there's other verses that contradict. So,
Yeah,
sorry, James, I didn't want to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure that.
No, we're good. We're good.
yeah, and this is a good point that Amin made. When James, when we need, like to read from Quran or Bible or from anywhere, we cannot, like just read the verse word by word without, like fully understanding and fully go on, like the reason why it was revealed and the story behind it. Because it's like someone Muslim came and he said, oh, there's in John said, like you know the Father greater than I, Jesus said. If I understand it the way how it is, that means, like Jesus is not God in your
I got
belief.
you, brother. I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah. So this is the point. We will not go to that point. But if someone came and claimed that, oh, Jesus is not a God because he said Father is more power than
I
him.
got you.
Yeah, then
My
it's
point is that
misunderstanding.
my point when it talks about the verse in 434, we read the verse, we went to the hadith, we went to the tafsir, we went to the reason for why the verse came. Like you just said now, we went to 434. We go and read. Jalalain says you can beat them, you can strike them. The Wahidi tells us that the explanation for the verse itself is that some man beat his wife across the face. She wanted retaliation. Allah says, we wanted one thing, and Muhammad said we wanted one thing, Allah wanted something else. So yes, you can beat the wife. But let's stop with that one now, because we're going in circles on that one. So we leave it
Yeah,
as that at that. But
yeah, no problem.
if we
James,
trust in the verse, we have to
yeah,
be honest with ourselves. We can't lie to ourselves, because if you lie to yourself, then you're putting yourself in the cave, with no lights on, you're sitting in the dark. So the verse, we both agree, says you can strike them. The verse does say that. Whether you strike them, I believe it's physical because of what the reasoning is from the reason for revelation and the tafsirs. But my point was this: right at the start, you said, if it does mean a physical strike, then this would be evil, and evil comes from someone evil. Now we're not going to talk about this one. Let's go to number 2.
yeah,
Child
James, just
marriage.
one
Yeah.
request, please. So I have the time to stay, like in this conversation. But I would like, because the people on the chat, they said, like bring someone. So if you can bring him to join the topic, and I will.
Wait, who?
I don't know. They called, Hawa.
Oh,
H
Hawa
A
must request.
W.
I tried to invite Hawa, but she's not requesting, so I can't bring up. I don't know if she doesn't have enough followers.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe
Because
Hawa, you are more than welcome to request. I tried to send you an invite, but you don't have enough followers. Maybe that's the reason why.
yeah, no problem. Because I have the time. I can stay, like.
No worries. We don't. I would invite anyone up if Allah Himself requested, bro. I'd bring him up. I just don't understand. I don't not bring people up. There's certain people I wouldn't bring up because they just not willing to have conversation. But most of the
James,
time, bro, we bring
just
him
to
up.
correct you on this, you said if Allah request, Allah cannot, like He will never be, like.
I got you. I'm just joking, man. I'm just joking.
Yeah, no
I'm just
problem.
saying, anyone. I wouldn't stop anyone. So let's go to the next point. Next one, number 2
Yeah.
on the list is child marriage. Do you think marrying and sleeping with a child is evil?
Yes, of course.
Okay, now again, if marrying a child, sleeping with a child is evil, then again it must come from Satan, someone evil. So can you tell me, in your Quran, it tells us in Surah 65:4, it says that you can divorce. Let me just read it. It says, as for your women who have despaired of further menstruating, if you are in doubt, tell me please again, if there's any English words you don't understand and you want me to find the Arabic for you, I can do that.
Yeah, as you know, like so far I understand. Yeah.
Beautiful. It says, if you in doubt, their period shall be 3 months. And this is talking about the iddah, the waiting period. You
Yeah.
know what the iddah is for, correct?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Okay, the iddah is to make sure that the girl is not pregnant, so that if she gets remarried, you can't say the husbands or the fathers can't argue about who the father is. So the iddah is the waiting period between after she gets divorced, before she gets married, just to make sure that she's not pregnant. Now it's saying the first group I was talking about are the old. It says those that have no more menstruation. Then it says the next group, because there's 3 groups of women, it says, and those who have not menstruated yet. They haven't got their menses yet. They've never had their menses. And those who are with child, those that are pregnant. It says that they must wait 3 months. Now, we read the verse. This is how you said we must do it, right? We read the verse, then we go to the tafsir, correct?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me to put it on the screen so you can see?
Yeah.
Beautiful, brother. So let me just do this 1 second.
Hey, James.
So, yes, sir.
I got to drop down, but I just want to read this one verse from the St. Paul.
Yes,
but
sir.
it says Colossians 3:19, husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. But I appreciate you having me up, James.
You're always welcome.
God bless everyone. Have a good night.
God bless, bro.
God bless.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so check this out. We're still on 4:65:4, right? Do you know who Ibn Abbas is?
Yes.
Beautiful. So he's the cousin of Muhammad and one of the Sahaba, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Beautiful. So this is what he says. And for such of your women as despair of menstruation because of old age, if you are in doubt about their waiting period of waiting shall be 3 months. Upon which another man asked, O Messenger of Allah, what about the waiting period for those who do not have menstruation because they do not have it, or have it not because of young age? So the last one is talking about the pregnant, but we are focusing on this, the young, those that are too young, right? So Ibn Abbas is explaining the 3 groups are those that are too old, those that are too young, and those that are pregnant, right? Now
Yes.
we know that these girls have been married and that they've done dingy dingy. We know it because there's a waiting period. Because in Surah 33:49 it says, if they haven't been touched, then there's no waiting period for them. Okay? So let's see the next group, Jalalain. He says, and also those who have not yet menstruated because of their young age, their period shall also be 3 months. So again, Jalalain is confirming what Ibn Abbas said and what Allah said, that because of their young age, they must still wait 3 months. Ibn Kathir, the same for the young who have not reached the years of menstruation. Now, I'm going to show you this from Maududi. Maududi says, where is it? 1 second. There. Let me just show you this. So Maududi says, it's talking about those that are either young age, right? It says, here, one should bear in mind the fact that according to the explanation given in the Quran, the question of the waiting period arises in respect of the woman with whom marriage may have been consummated, meaning they've already did the dingy dingy. He says, for there is no waiting period in the case divorce is pronounced before the consummation of marriage. Surah 33:49. Therefore, making mention of the waiting period for girls who have not yet menstruated clearly proves that it is not only permissible to give away the girl in marriage at this age, but it is also permissible for the husband to consummate the marriage with her. Now, obviously, no Muslim has the right to forbid a thing which the Quran has held permissible.
What which book is this, or which?
This is Maududi. One second, let me just, here's the Maududi. This is Hadith, Maududi.
Yeah, and is it where it is in Maududi?
Yeah, you can go anywhere, any Maududi for 65.4. You can go to any tafsirs. You'll see the same thing in all the tafsirs.
And what tafsir Jalalain just explained this?
Maududi. Then we went to Ibn Kathir. Then we went to Jalalain. And then it was Ibn Abbas. So all of these are telling us the same thing, that in all cases, you can marry and penetrate these girls. Now, every single school of Islamic thought agrees with this. There is no one that disagrees. No school, whether it's Salafi, whether it's, doesn't matter what. There's none of them that say that this is not true. Not a single school will say the opposite of this. So again, if every school agrees that you can penetrate a child before their first menstruation, and you said that sleeping with a child is evil, then we have a problem, don't we?
Yes, and the question will come to my head, which is, James, why, why the rest of the Muslims, didn't go and marry to children nowadays?
But they are, my brother. They are. In Pakistan and in Yemen, it's crazy the amount of people marrying children.
And also, I did want to tell you, and this is not a command. So in 65.4, it's not a command. So you don't have to do it. But if you want to, you can. That's the point that we're making. So in a second fee America, in fee America, people don't do this, right? Like, for one, they can't. But like James said, if you go to maybe Yemen, or if you go to Pakistan, or if you go Afghanistan, they do it, but they don't have to, but it's allowed. And this is what James is asking you. He's saying if it's...
He's probably got a call. So all I'm saying, my brother, is that
very bad connection.
Yeah, he's at work, so he might be doing some work stuff. All I'm saying is the Quran confirms that you can do it, not saying you have to do it. And the best example for child marriage would be Aisha marrying Muhammad. Now, you said if this was true, that you can marry and penetrate a child, then this would make it evil, and it has to come from someone evil. Your Quran is confirming that you can marry and penetrate them before they reach menstruation. So even if I asked you, I'm not going to ask you the country you're in now and stuff, but you know that if a girl today in 2025, let's say she gets a period at 12.
Yeah.
Now, this verse is saying that you can already marry them and divorce them before they even reach the age of 12. Because remember now, the Quran is for all times.
Makes no sense.
Say again?
Yes. This is make no sense, like how it's possibly someone can go in a relationship, sexual intercourse
Exactly, bro.
with
This is
this
what we're
age.
saying.
Exactly, bro. Like
Yeah, it has to be,
for
like physically ready, mature, and all of this.
that's not true. So, bro, this is exact, bro. You hit it right on the head. You are exactly correct. It doesn't make sense. هذا موضوع مش معقول مش منطقي. It's not logical, bro. It's not reasonable. But when we look in the hadith, we see that Muhammad did this.
No,
So
no,
explain that.
no, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I will literally disagree with you in when you say Muhammad did this. I know that
Izay.
it mentioned. Yeah, let me finish, please. So I know it mentioned that like he got engaged at the age of 6, and he get married for with Aisha at the age of 9. It's like it's there, but why I will disagree, because we cannot know how like how 9 years old and how 6 years old was look like, or like how mature there was at that time. It's very long time ago,
Okay,
1400
can I
years.
just jump in again? So again, right? Now
Yeah, but
notice the difference. The
please, yeah.
verse is for all time. Is the Quran for all time?
صالح لكل مكان وزمان. Um, yes,
Okay.
I don't
So
know,
that
but,
means
but
that this verse,
here there's an explanation of
Mhm.
that. It's for all time, because yeah, it's a trick. It's a trick thing. So you can say it's for all time, but
Right.
there is a conditions. It has to be.
Where do you see the conditions? Because if the verse is for all times, then it's talking about all girls for all times that have not yet reached the years of menstruation. But watch this. Jesus, that came 600 years before Muhammad, he says that a 12-year-old girl is a child. A 12-year-old, he calls a little girl. Now, how does a 12-year-old girl, 600 years before Jesus, called a little girl, but half of that, 600 years later, she's 6 years old, and she's married to a grown man in his 50s? Remember, the verse is for all time, meaning that the verse is relevant today and necessary today, and Muslims are using this today because Allah said that his Quran is for all times. This
Yeah,
verse is not abrogated, it's not removed from the Quran, it's not replaced with a better verse. This verse is for all time.
yeah, James. Yeah, as I was saying for you, that these like that the period of time in the past, which was very long time ago, they have physical features different than us. They have like
My man, we've heard this argument before with no proof. There
no,
is no
no,
proof that the girls were
okay,
different back
okay,
then. In
shall I
fact,
give
hang
you
on a
the
second, watch this. Your
shall I give you the
Quran,
proof?
your Hadith says that it says children must be beaten at 10 years old if they can't recite the Quran. So you saying that it says in the Hadith, if they are children, I'll show you this, right? I'll show you the Hadith. It says children 10 beat. Watch this. So I'm going to show you whether your own Hadiths tell you. It says, command your children to pray when they become 7 years old and beat them for it when they become 10 years old. So your Hadith, Sunan Abi Dawud 495, is calling these a 7-year-old a child and a 10-year-old a child. How is it that a 6-year-old now is not a child? She's now all of a sudden mature and she's now an adult. Make it make sense. All I'm doing is looking at what your scholars are calling these people. They are
Is
called
it is it
children.
mentioned is it mentioned about like the physical like the about body and stuff? Because
Are you a child,
you asked
brother?
me you
Are you a
asked no
child
you
right now?
asked
Are you
me
a child now?
no, I'm not a child, but
No.
I need to, James, you ask me for evidence, yeah, and I
Yeah.
will bring you from you. Obviously you read the Bible and Old Testament, and of course you have, like cherry picked some verses of Quran, so you have as well looked at the Quran. So basically we heard about the Noah, he lived for maybe over than 1,000 years. So this
No,
is
brother, just stick to the
different
verse,
age.
my man.
and
Just
and the
stick to
people
the verse.
when Prophet Saleh was, I don't know
Can
if
I
you
can I
know
trust
Saleh.
Aisha? You said to me earlier, you said Aisha said the Prophet never beat anyone. Now Aisha says, I was 6 years old when he married me. I was playing on the swings. I was playing with my dolls, and he penetrated me at 9. She said it. She was playing on the swings. She was playing with her dolls. Do adults
And
1400 years ago play with dolls, play with toys?
okay, then the question will come, that why he waited 3 years, why he didn't just go.
Beautiful. I can show you that too. I can show you why he
So
waited.
she became mature at the age of
No,
9.
that's not why. The reason is because it didn't fit when he tried to push it inside her. Right? Watch this. I'm going to show it to you now. Again, your scholars telling me that. Watch this. So I'm taking you to a site called Islam Q&A, where they quote the scholars, right? Islam Q&A. They quote the scholars, Bukhari, Muslim, Ibn Abbas, and so on. But look at the question. The question is on marrying young girls. Someone asked about marrying young girls. Watch this. It says, the fact that it is permissible to marry a young girl does not mean that it is permissible to have intercourse with her. Rather, that should not be done until she is able for it. She must be able to take the man's willy. For that reason, what reason? That she wasn't able for it, Muhammad delayed the consummation of his marriage to Aisha. Why? She wasn't able for it. Al-Nawawi said, with regards to the wedding party of a young married girl, at the time of consummating the marriage, if the husband and the guardian of the girl agree upon something that will not cause harm to the young girl, then that may be done. If they disagree, then Ahmed and Abu Ubay say that once a girl, listen carefully, once a girl reaches the age of 9, let me highlight that because I think this is crazy. Ubayd said, this is Ubay ibn Ka'b, say that once a girl reaches the age of 9, then the marriage may be consummated, meaning she can be penetrated, even without her consent, meaning she doesn't have to agree to it. You can just grape her. But it goes on. That does not apply in the case of one who is younger. So what? Younger than 9. Malik, Shafi, and Abu Hanifa, all the biggest scholars, said the marriage may be consummated when the girl is able for intercourse, which varies from one girl to another. So no age limit can be set. No age limit. Watch what else it says. This is the correct view. It says there's nothing in the hadith of Aisha to set an age limit or to forbid that in the case of a girl who is able for it before the age of 9. So if the girl is able for this before the age of 9, the man can penetrate her as long as she is able for it and you don't hurt her. Now, if you read the scholars, they say that you may rip them from the front VV to the back VV. You'll tear them open. Doesn't matter. You tried. You failed. So my man, I'm not just saying this. All I'm saying is that this is what your scholars, the biggest scholars, because you've got Shafi, Malik, Hanifa, you've got Ubay, all these guys are telling us that you can penetrate these little girls even without their permission when they turn 9. So if you ask me to check any school, I can take you to that school of thought and we'll see what they say.
Yeah, James, you said you can, yeah. So basically, when you said you can, there is, as far as I know, there is around like 2 billions of Muslim around the world. And if we need to take a percentage of them idiots who are marrying, like young girls, as you mentioned, Iraq, Yemen, Afghanistan, anywhere else, it will come to the percentage of 0.00 maybe 1 or
Thank God
0.001.
for that, right?
Yeah.
Thank God
So
for that.
that's mean if we if me if I am classify myself as a Muslim and I can do this, why I didn't do it, and why 99.99% they didn't do it? That means,
Can I ask
it's
you?
very.
Can I ask? Because that's a fantastic question. But the thing is, you're not forced to do it. You're not commanded to do it, but you can do it. So the good thing is that you guys are not doing it,
Why?
but you're not punished
Of
for
course, because
doing
it's
it.
disgusting. Of course.
Exactly,
And I
brother.
agree with you. I would imagine I have, like a daughter, yeah, and she's 6 years old, which is in our modern current time, yeah, in this time. If she's 6 years old, she cannot handle, like anything of what we are talking about. Or she cannot even handle to
Amen.
carry maybe, like 5 kg or, like 3 kg by herself. So of course I don't agree with this, and I discussed with this, and like I blame anyone who's doing it in this time. But I cannot judge, like about the previous times, because I have read stories that they have different ages, they have different, like I was talking about Saleh and you interrupted me. So basically, there's a people who came during that time. Some prophet, his name is Saleh. They were, be able to work in the mountains. So basically, they were around 10 meters height. So that means they have different physical appearance that how we look nowadays. And this was my, only reason to that, back days, maybe they have different, like ages, they have different blah blah blah. So that's why I cannot judge, because I was not there. But now if I see anyone who's marrying 9 years old, 6 years old, even to 12, even to 15, or like the age of consent, yeah, I will be discussed. I will say it's wrong, no matter what belief they are,
James, James,
what they are
I've been
believing.
in and out. Sorry, Ibrahim, just give me 1 second. James, I've been in and out. So I'm back just for so is um I think it was Fatima was trying to get married at the same age, but then they said that it was too young or something like that. Do you remember that hadith, James?
Yeah, Fatima, I got that. 1 second.
Yeah, because Ibrahim, like I understand that you're saying that at that time, like I understand what you're saying. You're saying at that time maybe things were different. But
Let me give
today, because we have progressed, but the problem is even at that time, she still would have been considered to be too young. James, can you read him the hadith?
Yes, sir. This is Sunan An-Nasai 3221. Sunan An-Nasai 3221. It was narrated from Abdullah bin Buraida that his father said, Abu Bakr and Umar, may Allah be pleased with them, proposed marriage to Fatima. But the messenger of Allah said, she is young. Then Ali proposed marriage to her and he married her to him. Just remember now, bro, that Fatima was older than Aisha. She was around 12 or 14. She was older than Aisha. And Muhammad said she's too young. But Muhammad takes a 6-year-old girl. And I agree with you,
sorry.
I agree with what you
Sorry,
just
brother.
said.
Could you give me the reference of this, because I need to look.
1 second, I'll give it to you the screen. I'll put it on the camera. You can take a screenshot.
Yeah, but I need to read it as well in Arabic
No,
later
no,
on.
there it is.
Later on. Sunan an-Nisa'i.
One thing you must know, my man, is that we will have whatever proof we have, we will put on the camera. If you're in doubt, we go through it. We're not afraid of that. You know, we read. And you can see it's Sahih.
An-Nisa'i.
So I just want to just end off with this one again. Now, I'm so glad that you are so against this type of filthy, disgusting behavior. I'm glad. Do you know that Iraq has lowered the age of marriage to 9? That you can penetrate girls in Iraq at 9? Did you know that?
No, I don't know, and I will stand against it. And they, yeah,
But
they are.
the reason that they do that, it's because they believe that Muhammad did that, so you can't go against what Muhammad did. So if Muhammad did do that, and Iraq, a Muslim country, is doing that, you can't say that you stand against it, because now you're saying you stand against what Muhammad did and what Muhammad allowed and what Allah said is okay. See, your heart is good. I love the fact that you are actually open with you saying this is an evil thing, yet every scholar in Islam says it's allowed. Every single scholar. No one in Islam says it's not allowed. No scholar in Islam, because they don't dare.
Yeah, yeah, James. You know, to be honest, I have limited knowledge in this
No worries, brother.
topic. Yeah, so basically, I will take, and if you can send me some messages about, you know, which because you used some evidence. So if you send me them, and I will read them in Arabic.
No
And
worries. Look, do me a favor. Above your head, it says the Agents 007. That's on YouTube.
agent.
So you can always go back to YouTube and you can watch the lives again on YouTube, and you can get all the references on YouTube, so that you can be sure that what we have presented to you, we are able to show it to you.
Okay.
But your heart, my man, as I said, so far, out of the 4 things that's on the screen, you agree that beating your wife is evil, marrying a child is evil, and I have a daughter. So I'm saying to you, I know how evil it will be if a man in his 50s touched my daughter before she even had her first menstruation. I would be locked away for a very long time.
It's not about age, my friend. It's not about, you know, like, even if I have daughter, I'm not married, but if I have daughter and she's 6 years old, I will never ever, you know, like, allow even a 12 years old you know, like, boy to touch her. It's not necessary to be it's not necessary to be 50 or about the age, because you know, like, she doesn't know
Can I ask you this,
what
brother?
is
Can I
these
ask you
mean.
this? If it's true, if I'm just saying the biggest if in the whole world, if it's true what I'm saying, that your Allah allows wife beating and sleeping with little girls, if it's true, if you find out it's true, is that enough for you to say enough is enough? What other evidence do you need, or what else do you what would break the camel's back? What is the worst thing for you?
That's actually what I was getting ready to ask him, because, and it's what I told you, James. Like, I've spoken with him. We talked for a good bit one night. And he's a very good brother, like, great brother in humanity. He'll listen to you, and if he doesn't know, he won't try to argue with you, and that's fine. That's what everybody should do. But I'm just curious, like an einstein, like an Einfadul, like why stay in this? Like, what is it that just makes this so true? Like, what is it that it would take for you to see that this just cannot possibly be true?
Yes, I mean, my answer to that, because as I said for James, I have limited knowledge, so I will go and read, what the evidence he brought, and I will read another, the other point of view, so why it was allowed, and if it was allowed, and it allows, and I guarantee you, if this is allowed in our current time, which is, I feel it's disgusting, then I will have a big concern about, what I believe. I will have, a very big thing. So, and I will put a lot of question
Can I
marks.
show
But
you
I,
some
I need,
videos of the
I need,
sheikhs
I need,
today?
I need first to, to get educated and, get deep in details in these topics. Then I will decide, or I will say if this evil or not. I said is evil, but if it's allowed, I will take a decision to, judge 100%.
That's all we're asking you to do, my man. Because you know the guy that was up here, DJ, he read a verse for you, right? About in Colossians, and I'm going to read something for you from Ephesians, and I want you to tell me which sounds better. So the verse we went to in 434 says, "If you fear disobedience, admonish them, banish them, beat them." Right? That's what it says. Whether we can discuss what it actually means, but tell me which sounds better. Listen to this. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor without spot or wrinkle, that she might be holy and without blemish. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself, for no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church.
Yeah, you asked me how it sounds. It sounds very beautiful, and I really, love this verse. And how the order, you should be respectful, you should, caring, you should be, take care of your wife, and she's part of you, and all of these. And uh, yeah, it sounds great. And then when you need to go and say, but how it sounds in the verse that, said, beating your wives, I will bring you another examples that said, care for your wife, give her, a lot of love, and this in Islam. So there is a lot of verses as well, and a lot of hadiths that,
I'll give you one more example, my brother, before we leave. Watch this. If your dad, watch this, if a man, let's say he feeds the poor, he builds houses for the homeless, he does everything he can for everybody else, but he sleeps with a 9-year-old. Do you ignore that he's sleeping with a 9-year-old and say, but look, he feeds the poor? Oh, he's such a good guy. He builds houses for the poor. He does. Do you ignore the one thing and only look at the other things? Or do you look at the bad thing and
I
go,
don't.
hang on? Say again?
Yeah, no, I don't, I don't look away or forgive his bad, things that he has done. If you ask me about our modern time, so if there is, yeah, let's bring the example up again. So if there is someone make a lot of good deeds, good to his neighbors, and feed poor people, and bring, the homeless people, give them shelter, and all of these kind things, and he go and sleep with a 9 years old girl in our modern time, it's bad. I will not justify his, good
Amen
deeds,
for
or
that. Beautiful.
yeah,
You know,
it's bad. It's bad. If
you,
and my answer if it's in our modern time. But back then, I don't know. It's 1400 years back, so I don't know exactly. I don't know how
Well,
they look like. I don't know how.
well, it's fun, James. Actually, the last conversation him and I had, it touched on this topic, and I'm not like I don't want to move it too much, but I'm listening to what he said, man, and it's like, I just want you to see it, bro. Like, if somebody, so Ibrahim, if somebody does that today, you agree that that's evil, correct?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Do you remember the conversation we had last time? Who was the person that makes you do the evil?
Shaitan, I would say, or
Mm,
No, no. Remember, we had a whole long conversation about this, and I showed you all the hadith. I showed you all the Quran verses. You and I both agreed it's Allah that does that, bro.
but there is a lot of commands. This is my point. I mean that you look at you are bringing like some evidence which support your points, but there is a lot of nice things like
that's
Allah
why I'm giving you the example. If
says,
a
yeah,
man
yeah,
does
yeah,
all the good
say
things
for
in
the
the
Muslims
world but
to
sleeps
do.
with a child, you can't ignore that. You said you can't. You've got to take all of them into consideration. And I'm
Yes,
showing you
yes,
now
and
that
this
back
is
then, Muhammad called a 10-year-old child, a 7-year-old child. We know that Fatima was too young to be married at 12. So we know that they understand the age, that people are different. We know this, we can see this, but that's not how they're behaving. Just one more thing. Salah says this: please ask him to bring archaeological evidence of any human who matured into an adult human being in 9 years only. What a delusional fool. We've got in Egypt, Takatu, what's his name? The guy, the mummy that was wrapped up. Oh my gosh. Tuten something. The
yeah,
Egyptian mummy. The little boy. For thousands of years, the boy's been buried. They took him out. He was still a boy. He was still a little boy, and he's a couple of thousand years before Muhammad. He was wrapped up. He was mummified. Tutankhamun, that's right, yeah. So King Tut, he was still a little boy, unwrapped, and he was 1,000 years before Muhammad. Even more. I don't know the exact date. But my point being, again, they are able to tell the difference in age. We can't lie to ourselves. All I want you to do, my brother, is be honest with yourself. And as you said, if it's true, there must be some part of your body that's going, oh, no way. Because me, besides all the other evidences that I have when it comes to Islam, if I have to find one thing that would make me want to go crazy, it'll be any man touching a child. That to me is like the worst thing you can do. Worse than beating your wife. That is like the worst of the worstest things. So I will never be okay with that.
yeah. James, like I am a follower of Amin, and yeah, as I said for you, I will read more about this in details, and hopefully when you are live, I will not say tomorrow or after tomorrow because I need to dig deep inside this topic, and inside these topics as well, the four topics that you are mentioned. We will not like have enough time to speak about slavery and eating pork, but we discussed like the first 2 points. And after 1 week, or maybe like 5 days, if I have like good knowledge, and I have had good information, then I will come back again and say for you, if it's what you are saying true, then I will say, yeah, there's a big, very bad thing, like in
No worries, brother. That's
yeah,
all we want is for you to be honest with yourself. That's all.
yeah, yeah, no problem. And yeah, thank you, because now you will make me study more about like these two topics and understand them more.
No worries,
And
brother.
yeah,
We don't
thank
do
you
this
very
because
much.
we hate Muslims. The reason we do this is to show you, like you liked what the Bible just said about how to treat your wife. That's missing in the Quran. Nowhere in the Quran does it tell you to love your wife. Nowhere does it tell you to love your wife and treat her like a good woman should be treated. Nowhere. I just want to say this quickly, guys. On the YouTube channel, there's this guy, for those that don't know him, his name is Travis Lee. Not sure if anyone knows him, Travis Lee. He says, God bless you, brothers. Miss you guys, and I pray for you daily. So if you don't know who this guy called Travis Lee is, you know, we don't know him. Maybe, you know, just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Travis
God
Lee,
bless
my
you,
man,
Brother
God bless you,
Travis.
brother.
Yeah. Hope to see you again soon.
Yeah. Travis is taking a bit of a timeout, guys. He's just, you know, sorting himself out in some stuff, but, you know, he's always in our prayers. We love him to bits, and we know that he'll come back stronger than ever.
Guys, I have to go, and thank you for letting me.
No worries, my man. God bless you, bro. You're
course,
more
bro.
than welcome. You can give me a follow as well, and we can continue whenever you're ready.
Yeah, and I mean, I already follow him, and I will follow you. I followed you now.
No worries,
Of
bro.
course.
God bless you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Salam. Salam.
Walaikum salam. We have some guys, keep yourself hydrated. Have some water. Don't forget that. Have some water.
Yeah, that brother, and you guys know me, like it's very hard for me to have conversations with people if I know that you immediately come up and you just like to lie and try to deceive people. I don't like when we have these conversations with people, we just hope to have conversations, right? This is never about debating and trying to bake people. It's always about just conversation. So that's why like it was just so calm on stage when we were talking to that guy because nobody knows everything. It's not possible for you to know everything, but what we do know is what we were showing him, and we just praise God for him, and we will continue to pray for him and hope that he does look into some of the things that we said. So,
Amen. Uh-oh. We got my Senor Chris Claus. I'll cook someone. Okay.
Chris,
Albra,
come up if you want to, man.
Albra, you there?
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad, sir. You well?
Yeah, I'm good. So as for slavery, you know, we can all admit that it's not good.
Hang on,
However,
hang on. Slow down.
yeah, sure,
brother,
go ahead.
slow down. Slow down. I don't know what your stance is on the first few. So can you tell me, is it true that one of these is wrong in Islam?
It is, yeah. I don't know why you're asking, but it is, yeah.
Which
So?
one is
The
wrong
fourth
in
one.
Islam?
So
Say again?
the fourth one is wrong. Yes, why?
Okay, so the fourth one is haram, and the other three is allowed, halal in Islam, correct?
And you have objection of that?
Well, we're discussing it. It's okay, my man. Take a chill pill, bro. We're not fighting. This is no jihad right now. We're just talking. Okay, so you agree that in Islam you are allowed to beat your wife?
It is, but not the way that you are putting it. So
you don't know how I'm putting it. I think that in any way, shape, or form, if you beat your wife, it's evil. So do you think
it is
that
not
beating
entirely
your wife
evil.
is evil?
No, it is not entirely evil. So
Not
something called
entirely
discipline.
evil.
You should have that.
No worries. So now it's not evil. Can you tell me how do you beat your wife?
Not white and black, bro. You're putting it as if it is white and black.
This is where we're gonna go now. We're just gonna get an understanding. So when you beat your wife, how do you beat your wife?
Well, so first you do not go for the face.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use a stick, perhaps.
Okay. What stick are you using? Are you using like a broomstick? Are you using just a bamboo stick? What stick are you using?
No, as for broom, it will be harmful. You can use a really small stick.
Okay. Then this is now you telling me how you discipline your wife. So you don't go for the face. You can use a stick. How many times do you beat her?
Ideally not, but should she doesn't obey you, or should she disobey you, then she should be disciplined.
Yeah, how many times? How long do you beat her for? Is it like once or 10, 15 until she cries, until she says she won't do it again? I mean, how long do you beat her for?
Well, it's kind of, relative to the situation. However, I would say
So give me
once
an
is enough.
example. Give me an example.
Yeah,
of
I would say
something
once
she
is
did.
enough.
Give me an example of something she did that deserved her to get 434.
Well, the word disobeying you, I think it's self-explanatory. I don't have examples on my mind now. However, I believe should she disobey you, she should be disciplined. Yeah.
Beautiful. So we know that you agree with that. What about child marriage? Are you okay that a child can be penetrated in the name of Allah?
I believe that childs are being penetrated worldwide, especially in Western countries already, in the name of anything. You know?
Yeah, but we're talking Quran. We're obviously talking about the religion of Islam and the Quran. Do you agree that you are allowed to marry and penetrate children before their first menstruation?
No, I'm referring to the after puberty.
Okay, but your Quran doesn't mention that. Your Quran mentions you can marry a girl before they have their menstruation, correct?
It does, however, I don't have to, but it does.
No, you
Yeah.
don't have to, but you're allowed to.
We are, yes,
Oh,
correct.
beautiful. So my question would be, how would you know that the girl is able to take the man's willy winky if you don't try?
I think that's a good question. However, you can assess the situation.
How do you
However,
assess it?
ideally, you don't
I
do
don't want
that.
to put any words in your mouth. How do you assess the situation?
Like usually, so there are people who could reach the age of puberty really fast, and there are people who would reach it really slow. For
Give me an
example,
example. When you say
yeah,
really
someone-
fast, are you talking like at 5, at 6, at 7?
on the exceptional cases there are, but those are exceptional to the case. However,
But again,
so,
you have to be able
uh,
to check to see if it can go in at 5, 6, and 7, correct?
sorry?
You have to be able to check if it can go in. You can't just assume.
Yeah, so again, this measurement, you could use it based on the, I would say, the size of the body. So, for example, if someone
If she
was
was nice
already
and
big
chubby,
enough,
like
Hey,
Aisha, they made her
yeah,
chubby, right?
if she was chubby, she'd be good, right?
Yeah.
one by one, but the word shabby, I wouldn't be using it. However, like I have said, this is exceptional. For some reason, you are going to the exceptional case, you know?
No worries. Okay, so it's allowed. Would you do it if you found a girl? Let's just say she was 8 years old and she was able to take it. Would you do that?
Well, I have said that before. I wouldn't. However,
wouldn't.
that is allowed. But
Okay.
like the idea you keep mentioning it, you know, I think it's
No, I'm
somehow
just
irritating.
checking. So let's move to the
But
next
you're claiming
one.
not to be
Let's
irritated.
move to the next one. Slavery. You agree that you can have slaves in Islam?
Just like in your Christianity, you can have them, yes.
Beautiful. I'm not even going to bite on that. We're going to just move on. So now in Islam, you can have slaves. What about sex slaves? Can you have right-hand possessed slaves?
Yes, just like your David did.
Okay. So, but can you show? No, man, I'm not going to bite on that either. So according to your Quran,
There is, go to the Old
according to
Testament,
your
David
Quran,
had 32 sex slaves.
again, it's okay. In your Quran, it's telling you clearly you can beat your wife because you're a weak pig of a man. You can sleep with a child because you're nothing but a
I
pedo.
think you're referring to yourself in here.
And you can have slaves because you're nothing more than a dirty dog. Thanks for coming. Oh, you got no idea how I had to bite my tongue. Oh, you
Yeah,
got
man.
no idea.
It's quite disturbing, actually, because and this is what I said, and I'm glad that Ibrahim was the first guest we had, because imagine if that guy was the first guy, and then we would have talked, we would have already been like on edge. But notice the
Sorry, he's at work, guys. So he's every time he pops in and out every now and then. But yeah, I just I let it go on for a bit, guys. And the reason for that was I want you guys to see these are the Muslims that are living in your towns, your cities. They are bringing this to your schools. Your children are growing up with this crap. Your children are being exposed to this. I wanted you guys to see, and I know that it may have sounded like I was calm, but I promise you, I stuck my nails into my hands because of this. I was so angry listening to him. All of this is on YouTube. All of this is on YouTube live right now. And I couldn't hold myself any longer because I was actually starting to sweat. I was honestly starting to sweat.
Sorry, I had a phone call. The thing I was saying earlier was notice the contrast, right? When we were having a normal conversation, any normal human being, like it just is what it is, bro. Any normal human being would say, this is no, like, why would I want to do this? Now, they may not know that they're allowed to do it or that they're commanded to do it, and that's fine. Then they'll just disagree with us. That's fine. But nobody who is not insane, who is not reprobate, would say that this is normal or that this is okay. But notice what you have to agree to in order to be a part of this. You have to agree that these things are okay. And it's exactly what Romans chapter 1 says will happen to you. You will become reprobate. I just want to say one last thing too, because he's talking about slavery and stuff like that. If you go to Exodus chapter 21 and you read verse 16, it says, whoever steals a man and sells him, and anyone found in possession of him shall be put to unaliving. And then DJ read Philemon earlier, and I'm just going to read this again. Philemon chapter 1. For this perhaps is why he was hard for you for a while, that he might be having back whatever, no longer as a bondservant, but more than a bondservant, as a beloved brother, especially to me, but how much more to you, both in flesh and in the Lord. So if you consider me your partner, receive him as you would me. So he says in that Roman Empire at that time, people did own slaves, but he says, look, no, he's not a slave, bro. He's a brother. He's a brother with you in Christ, with me in Christ. Centel asks for the verses for the one in the Old Testament about if somebody steals a person and tries to sell them, they should be unalived. That's Exodus chapter 21, verse 16. And the one about in Christ, you're no longer slaves, but brothers, that is Philemon chapter 1, verse 15 through 17. What they like to do is we call it anachronisms. What they'll do is they will take a verse and they will look at it and say, look, aha, like you guys have slaves too. But they're looking at it like the slave, like the transatlantic slave trade type slave. And they'll put that understanding onto something in the Old Testament or something, and it just doesn't work. So we have answers for these, but do you really think that if we would have gave him those answers, he would have listened? Of course not. Like, so this
No,
is why James did perfectly. He was like, I'm not even going to follow you. But the fact that he agreed with everything proves that we're not lying about this.
this is
Sorry, James, go
why I
ahead.
brought up Ibrahim again. But before I do that, Unchained Queen says Travis must be employee of the month now, not pulling over every second. Miss you, pray for you daily.
That's funny.
Ibrahim, I brought you up because did you hear what the Muslims said? That yes,
Yeah,
he also beats his
I was
wife.
listening.
And he doesn't just beat her, he also uses a stick. Then he says you don't have to sleep with children, but you can sleep with children. This is why we have these conversations, Ibrahim, because we want to show Muslims that don't know that this is in their books. It's in your books. He said the only one that is haram is eating pork. Everything else is allowed in Islam. This is what he said. And this is what we've been saying.
No, I'm not sure what he's saying, but like all of them is haram.
But no, let's just focus on what he said. He is a Muslim that came up and said, all the first three are allowed, only eating pork is not. So eating pork is worse than beating your wife. Eating pork is worse than sleeping with a child. Eating pork is worse than having slaves. And he said he beats his wife, not only with his hand, he also uses a stick, he said.
Yeah,
He said he
uses
wouldn't
the
sleep with a
suet.
child, but it is allowed to sleep with a child. Sorry, go on.
Crazy. No, I was going to say, like, he said that he uses a suet. Like, bruh, like he said it blatantly, clear as day. And this is what we've been trying to tell y'all. Like, we're not making this up. Like this is what we've been told, and the reason we've been told this is because this is what you read. So why would anybody stay in this? Like I don't understand.
Yeah, James, because I didn't have a chance to discuss. As I said, I need to get more
No,
knowledge
my
from
brother,
the
I got
first
you.
2 points. So if we move to slavery, where it mentioned in like in Islam that slavery is allowed?
424 in your
Uh,
Quran, 424. There's more places, but I mean, there's lots of hadiths where even Muhammad used to have slaves for dingy.
Sorry, brother, 1 second. I need just to.
Just for penetrating. So not only was he sleeping with all his wives in one night, because he must have been, I mean, that seems like that's all he did. He also had a whole lot of women that he was sleeping with that were his slaves.
You said what?
4 An-Nisa 24.
Surah An-Nisa 24.
1 second, please.
And again, I just want to apologize before we do, Ibrahim. I just want to apologize to those people that may be thinking that I was so calm and just, allowing him to say what he said. First, I wasn't calm. And the reason that I let him say what he said was to show you guys that we are not making this up. This is the Muslim mind. I thank God for people like Ibrahim that is not as filthy and disgusting as these people are. He is saying, let me check it. And I pray that if he finds out that what we say is true, he says, enough is enough, can't do this anymore. I need to find my salvation somewhere else. Because salvation is not in Islam. We've done a live talking about this. The only salvation you get is through Christ. Not me. I've given you a chance several times now to either come up, but now you can shut up. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, brother, I have read it in Arabic, and it said, those women, as because I have the Arabic I have the Quran in Arabic, so I don't have translated. So
Who
what
is the
I
right hand possessed? Who are the women that your right hand possesses?
It's your wives.
No, sir.
This is what I understand.
No, that's not your wife.
It's not your wives. It's the people you capture.
It says, and said, forbidden are you, woman or already married, except those captives or slaves whom your right hand possesses. So right hand possessed is someone outside of your wife, because this, again, if you read from 3, it's talking about going to war. It's talking about who you're allowed to sleep with. It says, forbidden are you, your mothers, your daughters, your sisters, and yada, yada, yada. But then it says, the right hand possessed. These are your slaves that you're allowed to have. To this day, in fact, I watched a video yesterday, or even today, maybe this morning, where they were asking some mulana in Saudi Arabia, is child marriage allowed and is having right hand possessed allowed? He said yes to both. So this is talking about your slaves. So you can have slaves. And as I said, Muhammad himself had a slaves just for dingy. Surah 23, 1-6, Surah 33, 50, Surah 70, 22 to 30 talks about having dingy with slaves or captives.
Give me the verses again. So An-Nisa, which is 424.
424.
Yeah.
Then you can go to Surah 23. Let me just see if I can see it. 23, 1-6. Give me 10 seconds. I'm starting to get confused. I'm mixing up verses because there's so many verses. Let me read this. It says, prosperous are the believers who in their prayers are humble and from idle talk turn away, at the almsgiving are active and guard their private parts, save their wives from what their right hands own. Again, so now we can see it's talking about their right hand own. So it's not talking about the wives, it's saying wives and what their right hand owns. 23:6. So 23:6, right? Yeah. If you go to Surah 33:50, 3350. I got you, Amin. I'll do that in a second. 3350
Yeah.
says, O Prophet, what we have made lawful for thee thy wives, thou hast given. Let me read another translation. That was awful. It says, O Prophet, we have indeed made lawful to you your wives, to whom you have given their due compensation, and those your right hand possess, from what Allah has returned to you from of captives. So wives and right hand possessed are not the same. They are two different. And one more verse is Surah 70.
Mm.
1 second, I think it's 70, 22 to 30. 70.
22 to 30.
Yeah,
70.
22 to 30. And that says, save those that pray and continue their prayers, those in whom's wealth is right known, and the beggar and the outcast, who confirms the day of doom, and go in fear of chastisement of their Lord. From their Lord's chastisement feels none secure, and guard their private parts, save from their wives and what their right hands own. So the right hand is talking about the slaves. Now, we know that Muhammad also had sex slaves, right?
Did you see the thing I sent you?
Yes. I'm going to check that.
Ibrahim, so there's a tafsir, do you know about tafsir Qurtubi?
Yes, Al-Qurtubi.
Okay. So when you read the tafsir, because it's only in Arabic, I was able to translate it into English. It's long, so I'm not going to butcher trying to read the whole thing. But James can put the Arabic on the screen because I just sent it to him. And then he can also read the English translation that I gave him. The reason why I sent it to him and I'm not going to do it is because I'm at work and I don't want to read it because of how crazy it sounds. There's a hadith that goes with it.
So who is this? Let me find it on the screen. So it's 434, 424.
Yes, and this is Al-Qurtubi for 424.
Okay, I got that. Let me just 1 second. If I go there, and let me
So
just.
you can.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I was saying you can put the Arabic on the screen and you can zoom in for him. While he reads it in Arabic, you can read it in English so that people don't think we're lying. I don't want to repeat it because of how crazy it is. And then there's a hadith that he references proving that he's not just making it up. And I gave you the hadith as well.
Yeah, I'm just gonna find it. There we go. So, can you see this? Let me just see. So what is the section you're looking for? What is, I'm gonna have to go out of this over here.
424 Tafsir Al-Qurtubi.
Yeah, I have it in front of me right now.
You done messed up, James. Something fierce this morning. I mean, good job.
What is meant by? Okay, let me just see if I can do that. If I can do this.
And if you pull it up on your screen as well, it's the section that says Faqala ibn Abbas. There's a sod for the section sod, and then it says 107. Do you see that?
Yeah, brother, do you know what I mean? For some reason, if I need to go on my, like the Quran application, I will go out of TikTok, so I cannot do it.
You're right.
But anyway, I mean, everything you said, I just, like put it on a note, and as I said, so I put 424, I put 23, 126, 3350, all of these about slavery, and it's mentioned in the Quran.
But I want you to see this though before you. But I want you to see this because sometimes it's when you see it, it makes a world of difference. So I gave it to James. Hopefully he'll be able to put it on the screen. But if not, he can just read you the English translation that I was able to get for it. And like I said, I can't repeat it where I am because it's that bad.
So
but
let me.
Sorry, go ahead, James.
No, I've done a little bit of a difference of a take on it. So I'm gone here and I'm on Al-Qurtubi for 424, and it says, and chaste women, except those your right hands possess. I'm on Al-Tafsir, right? Al-Tafsir.
Yeah, that's tafsir
So
of
it
Quran.
says, this is the decree of Allah upon you, and lawful to you is all beyond that you may seek something with your wealth in chastity, not in unlawful sexual intercourse. So whoever of them have enjoyed, give them their give them their due compensation as obligation, and there is no blame on you for what you do. So I'm just trying to see the section that Amin is asking me to read, because the other section he's given me is talking about, I'll just read it for you. I can't show you the site because I might get a message on there. And
let me see if I can just pull it up on my screen.
Hey, Amin, you want me to show the Arabic that you got there?
Yeah,
I can
if you
show
don't
the Arabic
mind.
for him because he can read it, right?
Yeah, and
All right,
then
sorry. If I go to
yeah, and
Quran.com, can I get it there?
yeah.
Okay, sorry, man. Sorry. There we go. Sorry, my man. Quran.com. Let's just go down. So 4. I hope you notice, my man Ibrahim, everything we do, bro, we're not afraid of showing what we have on the screen, right? So on 424 into Tafsir, I'm going to find
Qurtubi. Yeah.
I'm going to, this is the Arabic, I'm going to translate it to English. Oh, that's too much.
Do you see that section?
107,
okay.
You said, right?
107, right there. Okay. Okay.
Let me do that.
Yeah.
And just do that. And it says,
okay,
the chains and the poet come to the Hadith made, It says the interpretation, chastise woman. Oh, there we go. So here, the captives who have husbands in particular, that is, they have forbidden except what the right hand possesses through captivity from the land of war. For that is permissible for the one who shares falls to her, even if she has a husband. This is the saying of Al-Shafi.
Now, notice what it says, Ibrahim. It says, even if she has a husband, even if, and if you keep reading it, like, it gets a little bit worse. And what it does is it gives you a narration from a hadith, and it says that many of the schools agree with this. Now, James, I put a hadith in the chat.
I mean,
sorry,
please,
go ahead, Ibrahim.
yeah, just one question for you, because you will be able to help me. So is this because it's saying about captivity, and captivity, it's in, like in Arabic it's called اللي هو أسير أو سبية. So are they talking about سبية or العبد, which is slavery, or عبودية?
It's talking about specific, it still would be like, it still would be like your, not like servant, but something that you possess. So for instance, when you go to, hold on, let me pull it up, because it uses a specific word, and that's why you have to use the tafsir for this, because it's what your right hand possesses.
ملكت أيمانكم.
Yeah, أيمانكم بالضبط كده. So it says that, and then after it says Kitab Allah. So this is the decree of Allah upon you. Alaykum. So this is what your right hand possesses. Your right hand that's slavery. And when you read the tafsir for it, it says specifically this is in reference to a war. So there was the context is war, and in war, whatever this right hand possesses is yours, and specifically it's talking about women. That is the context of it, because in the give me a second, James, can you show him the hadith, because in the hadith it gives you the Quran verse as well.
Yeah, James, and I mean, anyway, you gave me.
Sorry.
Yeah, you gave me the verses, and I will look for them. But in like, as a response for that, James, I would say there is as well some verses in Quran that said you should release the slave.
Nowhere in your Quran does it say that you must released the slaves. Remember, we had Bilal. Even he was never freed by Muhammad. It was Abu Bakr that freed him.
Okay, could you put, like فك رقبة in Surah Al-Balad? Let me just find it, and you put it in the screen. Then you will, because you said no way, and there is, I'm sure, because I have studied about it. So
Yeah, I just want to see. Show me a verse where it says that. Oh, what am I doing?
yeah, so basically 90-13. If you put it in the screen or you read it.
The freeing of a slave.
Yeah. If you read, yes, if you read, like two verses before and two verses after. So it was saying about the good things that you are doing. It's
No. I understand that. It's talking about freeing individual slaves, not doing away with slavery. So in Islam, if you give away or you free a slave, you get good deeds. But it's not saying that slavery is not allowed. Because remember, Muhammad was buying and selling black slaves, 2 for the price of 1. Muhammad had Bilal until he passed away. Muhammad had slaves for dingy. So he had his slaves. He had all these slaves. Aisha had slaves. Everyone had slaves. It never ended. Slavery never ended in Islam. But yes, if you freed a slave, that was a good thing.
Yeah. So basically, you need just this is an advice for you, James. You need to you need to learn more about the difference between al-khadim wal-abd. So al-abd, that like it's a slave that you can you own it basically, and no human being can own another human beings, because we are all created of God. So I cannot own like a human being. So it doesn't make any sense for me.
But that's not what it.
Yeah, but al-khadim, and I mean know what's al-khadim mean, which is like you can say it, a helper, or like someone.
Can I show you
But
something?
but it's not that though. That's what I'm saying. Like, because if you look at the hadith, that's in James. If you don't mind, you put that on the screen so that he can see it.
Which one?
This is the one.
This one.
The Sahih Muslim, 1456.
Okay, let me get to that in a second. I just want to show him this. So I want you to see this, Ibrahim. The chapter for this is the permissibility of selling animals for animals of the same kind and of different quality. So now we would assume that they're going to be buying and selling animals. But look at this. There came a slave and pledged allegiance to Allah's apostle on migration. He did not know that he was a slave. Then there came his master and demanded him back, whereupon Allah's apostle said, "Sell him to me." And he bought him for 2 black slaves. So one guy was bought for 2 black slaves, meaning Muhammad had black slaves with him, and he was trading black slaves as animals for animals.
Can I read the Arabic version on the right, please? If you zoom out a little bit, please.
Can you? Okay, 1 second. Can you see it now?
Yeah, this is perfect. جاء عبد فبين ما عبد. Okay, yeah, I understand. فاشتراه بعبدين, so he bought it with 2 slaves. He bought
So
that.
Muhammad had slaves and he was trading them. Sorry, what was the other one you said? Please.
Yeah, that's Sahih Muslim, 1456a.
And that's the one that you put in the Telegram?
Yes, yeah. And that one goes directly into the context, into the siyaq of chapter 4, verse 24. It's literally the hadith that they use in the tafsir that we read about taking another man's wife.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, yeah,
Sorry.
and it doesn't say anything about al-khadim. Like it doesn't say about helper. Or, no, like this is, if you read it,
right?
James. Yes, yeah,
Okay. Chapter. It is permissible to have intercourse with a female captive after it is established that she is not pregnant. And if she has a husband, then her marriage is annulled when she is captured. Now notice this before we move on. This is a married woman. She has a husband. The God of Islam and the Prophet of Islam is saying, even though she's married, we don't care. But we know that zina is an unforgivable sin and you will go to hell. Well, not unforgivable, it's a big sin. Let's see what it says. Abu Sa'id Khudri reported that the Battle of Hunayn, Allah's Messenger sent an army to Autas and encountered the enemy and fought with them. Having overcome them and taking them captives, the companion of Allah's Messenger seemed to refrain from having intercourse with the captive woman because of their husbands being polytheists. So
No,
remember,
wait, pause. No.
Go on.
Oh, no, I was going to say, now notice, they're still alive. They're not dead. They're still alive. Sorry, James.
No worries. But again, that's exactly what I was going to say. These women have husbands, and Muhammad now is saying it's okay. My God says it's fine. Then Allah comes to the rescue, as always, sent down regarding that. And women already married, except those who your right hand possesses, 424. So it's talking about verse 424, i.e., they were lawful to them when their iddah period came to an end, just to make sure they're not pregnant. So again, Ibrahim, marriage in Islam is not a sacred thing, because Muhammad and Allah are saying, even if these people are married, you can sleep with them. What do you call it when you sleep with someone else that's married, Ibrahim?
Sorry?
What do you call it if you sleep with a woman that is already married?
It's zina al-muharram.
Is that a bad sin?
Of course.
But over here, Allah and Muhammad come to the rescue and say it's okay. Even if their husbands are alive, you can still penetrate them, quoting 424.
Yeah, but like this is like when you go into the tafsir, so it will show more like more points to look at. So I agree.
No, bro. No, there's no.
One second.
This is what I'm saying from Al-Qurtubi. I mean, I can literally send it to you in your back channel. He says that they agree with this. There, and then he quotes schools, and then his final reason for quoting it and saying that the schools agree is this hadith.
Yeah, but
Like,
I was trying to say that, like you mentioned this as, like in the slavery point. However, like the tafsir showed that this is in a battle case or in, like al-ma'raka.
I agree with you, brother. It is in a battle, but are these women married in the battle?
Yes, but the reason, like
let's go slowly. So the women are married in the battle. The women's husbands are alive. Muhammad is saying you can sleep with a woman even though her husband is alive. Do you think that the woman captive will willingly go and let another man sleep with her while her husband is alive, or will the person trying to sleep with that woman be taking her by force, by raping her? Do you think she's going to open her legs or she will fight?
She will not. Most of the cases she will not agree, and she will not.
all of the
will not
cases.
accept that.
So again, so what Muhammad is allowing is women getting raped while the husbands are alive in the name of Allah.
And James, if you look at the hadith and you read it carefully, there's something that a lot of people skip over and they don't realize the severity of it. It says, having overcame them and taking captives, the companions of Allah's messenger seemed to refrain from having intercourse with the captive women because of their husbands being poly. So they're refraining not just because they're like polytheists or whatever. But if this was something that was understood to be something that just happens because of war, then why would a verse need to be revealed for it? It just doesn't make any sense. They're refraining for good reasons. They're refraining because they think they're, polytheists or whatever, but also just because they're alive. And then also this is why it was revealed. Hey, I get it. They're already married, but you have possessed them. And when you read the tafsir, the reasoning they give is because they say, well, because you have captured them, it nullifies their marriage basically because now you own them. What kind of
Yeah.
reasoning is that?
I mean, I have a question for you and for James, please. So basically, could you give me any form of slavery in, like in our modern time, like in
My brother, there's so many.
if it's exist?
Did you know? Okay, watch this. I'm going to give you the stats. What year do you think slavery was abolished in Saudi Arabia? What year?
Abolished. It means removed.
Taken away, removed.
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you.
Okay, take a guess.
It should be, like like when the command of
I agree.
stopping the slavery, which is
1400 years ago.
Yeah,
I agree,
1400.
Ibrahim.
Yeah.
So check this out, Ibrahim. In 1962, King Faisal abolished slavery in Saudi Arabia. 1962.
That's only 63 years.
Okay.
Now, the reason for that is because Islam allows it. This is why today, still in Muslim countries, in Africa and in Saudi Arabia, because there are videos still to this day of them buying and selling slaves in Saudi Arabia today and African countries. The reason is because it's not outlawed in Islam. But besides that, my point is this. As Amin showed you, in the Hadith, the own Sahaba, the followers of Muhammad were like, nah, man, we can't do this. We don't want to do this. These people are married, yada, yada, yada. What does Muhammad say? Hang on a second. Allah just sent me a verse. Doesn't Aisha say to Muhammad, it's funny how your Lord always satisfies your desires? Aisha said that to Muhammad. She said, it's funny, your Lord always comes to help you when you need him most. The Sahaba are saying, we can't sleep with these girls, they're married. Allah jumps in, he's like, hey, Muhammad is sleeping with his adopted son's wife. Allah comes and says, it's okay, don't say no to what we have said okay to. Muhammad says, don't beat your wife. Allah's like, come on, dude, what do you mean? Of course you can beat your wife. Each time we talk about something that you think is disgusting, you think is bad, guess who comes to the rescue for Allah, for Muhammad? Allah. This is why we should ask ourselves, this religion is for man, by man, and everything that Muhammad wanted for his Sahaba, they got. Everything. Have 4 wives. Go rob this person. Go rob that person. Unalive that person if you don't like them. Go do this. Go do that. Whatever they wanted, Muhammad said, Allah said it's okay.
No, this is I believe, like this is some, because some accusations you made, it's are not true, like they can beat anyone, or like they can or they can kill anyone, and like that. There is conditions, there is
James.
things to, but I asked
James.
me.
Sorry, I just want to show this, man, because I get that you're uncomfortable, and I get that this is the first time you've seen this, and I understand how you were raised because I have a lot of friends who are Muslim, right? Like I spend a lot of time in Muslim communities. A lot of my friends growing up were Muslims, and they've even invited me into their homes. They're very hospitable, charitable people. So we're not saying that, like I know that this is not what you're taught, but what we're explaining to you is this is the fundamental underlying reality of the religion itself. Most people don't know this because they don't read, but I'm going to show something on the screen, and I've got it translated so everybody can read it. But being that you know Arabic, and I know specifically the area that you're from, so you might be able to understand it better than me. But I want you to read this, and I want you to tell me if you agree with this. Okay? Give me 1 second. Let me put this on the screen. And you're going to condemn them, but this is the reality of the situation. Okay. Can you read that?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقتداء بفاتح أسوار الشام الشيخ أبو محمد الجولاني المؤيد من الله احرقوا الكنائس وكسروا الأصنام واحرقوا أجساد رجالهم واستبيحوا نساءهم فما لهم حلالكم والأجر العظيم في جنات النعيم حان الوقت لتعود الشام إلى أهلها. This is disgusting.
Do you know who said this?
I know because I am from Palestine
I know, I
originally.
know, I know, I know, I know. That's why I said like I said, I know where you're from.
Yeah,
So
it's Bilad al-Sham. It's in Syria nowadays. Yes.
I know, I know. Now, do you remember a few weeks ago when all of those Christian churches in Syria were burned down and things like that? Do you remember that?
Yeah, but I mean, whoever did that, he's a crazy, and he's like I don't need
No,
to
he's
care.
not.
No,
No, he's
but but
not.
but but
No,
but
he's
but,
not.
but our religion didn't command us to burn churches and to do all of these احرقوا أجساد
Ibrahim,
الرجال burn bodies
Ibrahim,
alive.
Ibrahim, Ibrahim, when we just showed you the Quran verses, the tafsir, the
I mean, in
hadith.
this, I mean, no, sorry, I'm so sorry for you, but in this point, you will not convince me. Do you know why? Because I am from Bethlehem originally, and like in my city, Bethlehem, the Christians more than Muslims. We like we don't go and burn churches. I lived in Jordan. I grown up in Jordan, and in Jordan there is a city called Al Karak. A lot of Christians, living peacefully side by side with Muslims. I swear to God, like nothing, like nothing wrong
That's
with
why
it.
I said I know for you this is not what you're taught growing up because I've seen it. Like for instance, in Egypt,
Yeah, then
the
th- then
Christians and
then
the
let's
Christians
talk.
and the Muslims live with each other side by side. I get
Mhm.
it. But what I'm saying is the fact or the reality of the situation is whenever you see our Christian brothers and sisters being kidnapped or churches being burned
No,
or the
I would
reason is
say this
because of what we
message.
read.
No, like I would say this, like this small piece of paper that it has written on it. I mean, it was like brought up by ISIS, like or by some people who are like very violent, and this is like you cannot call them, oh, they are like following this religion, because if they really follow the religion they will not do this, so they
Okay,
follow
so
their
then why do
desire
we
of
read about
killing.
this? So then why do we read about this in your sources? For instance, the section about violating the women, we just read it. Why do you think in Egypt and the Egyptian people are very close to my heart because that's the dialect of Arabic that I've been learning for a while, and they're very hospitable people. But in Egypt right now, the Coptic Christians, the Copts, almost every other day, their women are being kidnapped. Why do you think that is? Why?
In
Why do you think
Egypt,
that is?
in Egypt.
Yes, in Egypt. So
Brother,
most
Egypt, yeah, you need to know one information. In Egypt, the Copt, which is they are the Christians, they are 30% of the population. So they are not minority. They are, like a good, and 30%, that means 30 million. There, like the number is because Egypt is 100 million. So they are not a small group, and no one can go and grab a Christian woman and
But it happens a lot, and 30%
They
is not a lot.
10%, not
okay, but
30%. They 10%.
no,
If
no, it's more
10%.
than that.
I just
And it gets
searched it right
smaller,
now.
and it gets smaller every single day. Like
9.5%.
Brother,
like
do you know the clip that
Ibrahim. Wait,
they are protected
I,
they are protected from the government,
Ibrahim.
from Assisi and the
Yes, now they
Egyptian
are.
Why
army.
are they
Now they
protected? Hang
are.
on a second. Here's the question then. Why do they need protection?
You know, this is because God and Islamic way command us that, you know, like
No,
you should live peacefully with, you know, like I should respect
me,
your
man.
religion
Show
and
it
you
to me.
respect my. Sorry.
Show it to me. Show me, because again, your Quran is saying one thing to you and something else to me. I'm not sure where you're reading that, but just remember, the abrogated verses are the one you're going to go to.
Because you chose the verse that's supporting your evidence, but I have another, you know, like
Yeah, but the verse you're going to
and
show me,
hadith.
is that verse abrogated, or is that verse still relevant today?
What does that mean? Sorry,
Abrogated, in your Quran it says that if Allah wants, He can remove a verse.
nasikh wa mansukh. No, I don't think so.
But anyway, we've gone off into a tangent now, but my whole point is this. So far, we've done wife beating, we've done child marriage, we've shown you that Muhammad himself had slaves. You can penetrate slaves without their permission. You can, even if the husbands are alive, meaning it's a zina, that you can have these slaves and your wives, yada, yada, yada. My point again is, so now we know that wife beating is allowed, child marriage is allowed, and slavery is allowed according to your Quran. I know that you have one or two verses that you are adamant about, my man. I'm not taking that away from you. But under normal circumstances, are you allowed to eat pork in Islam?
No.
So the only one that you cannot discuss or even think about is eating pork. Because you can beat your wife, but there's a way to beat her. Don't beat her too hard, don't leave marks. You can marry a child, penetrate at 9, doesn't matter, just don't have to wait about the menstruation. You can have slaves, but make sure that you don't eat pork. Can you tell me, if you, in the Quran, Allah says, I swear by everything. Okay? Allah says in the Quran, I swear by everything. I swear by what you see and what you don't see. Surah 69, 38 and 39, Allah says, I swear by that which you see and that which you don't see. Does Allah then swear on the pig?
Does Allah swear on the pig?
Yeah, because He says He swears on everything that you see and what you don't see. So if I look at a pig, that means Allah will swear by the pig. So, because He swears by the people running, He swears by the fig tree, the olive tree, Mount Sinai. He swears by the day, the night, the mountains, the 10 nights. He swears by the sunset. He swears by the moon, the angels, the Lord of the east and the west. He swears by the pen, the star, the wind. He swears by the Quran. Now He says He swears by even the things you see and you don't see.
Yeah. So yes, basically, James, like the pig, yeah. I would say, like it's one of the creations of God. So there is a reason for the pig to be created and to be, on this earth. The reason why maybe it's not, like haram because or some maybe it's for a health reason, because I have seen videos of the pig, like eating dirty stuff. So maybe it's a health, like a health
Must remember,
reason
chickens
more than.
eat their own crap. Don't forget that chickens eat their own nonsense. But let me leave you now, Ibrahim. God bless you, my man. I only brought you up to let you see how Muslims think. This live, I'll do it again tomorrow and the day after, because I want you to come back and I want you to see how Muslims, not me, make it make sense. Not me, my man. So let me talk to damn boy. I think that's how you say it.
Very much.
Yeah, damn boy.
Okay, man. God bless you, Ibrahim.
Thank you.
Rahim. Oh, okay.
Okay,
you
Muslim flag. Damn.
Yeah, he left. Are you a Muslim, mister?
Yes, sir. I'm Muslim.
Excellent. So looking at the screen, which one of these four are you not allowed to do in Islam?
What? Which
Looking at these four things on the screen, which one are you not allowed to do in Islam?
Oh.
Excellent. I was waiting for you to say that because you were bumming you were bumping them gums pretty good down in that chat. So I was kind of hoping you'd come up. So when we go to Surah 434, we'll go to that one first. What does it say that you can do?
Well, I'm on my phone, so I can't really read the.
Okay, it says if you fear disobedience to your wife, there are 3 things that you can do.
And what are they?
You can keep her out of your bed, right? You can admonish her.
If you don't mind,
And then you can strike her, correct?
Can you show me the verse like on the screen if you don't just?
I don't. So you're like a normal Muslim, and you've never read your Quran? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, sure. Now, can you show me the verse?
So when I show you the verse and I show you the word strike, what are you going to do?
Show me it.
Again, when I show you the verse and it says strike, what are you going to do then?
I'm gonna prove to you that strike means different meanings. It's not. Darba means different meanings. And if you go to 381, Surah Al-Imran, go read that and see it says strike too, and see what that means down there.
Okay, so tell me what it means to strike your wife then. What does that mean?
It means re-announce.
It what?
Re-announce. You know, I'm not sure how to say it. It's REUNONCE.
Renounce.
Renounce.
Yeah, so last time I checked, if you strike or you hit somebody, that is not the same as renouncing something, is it?
Yeah, but I'm saying that strike has different meanings in the Quran. Just because it says strike doesn't mean it's darba, which means hit. No, it has different.
In this verse,
like I said, go to verse 381. It says strike down there.
In this verse, it says, "But those wives from whom you fear disobedience, advise them. If they persist, forsake them in bed, and finally strike them. But if they obey you once more, seek no means against them. Indeed, Allah is ever exalted and grand." So you're supposed to be giving them punishments, correct?
Punishments for I don't think the Quran actually promotes punishments for wives.
Okay, so then what are you advising your wife of? If you fear disobedience, what are you advising them of?
Well, not sure. I mean, I'm not a scholar. I'm just here to debate. Well, I was gonna research the wife beating.
Here, let me go ahead and read the whole. Let me read the whole verse so you understand. Men are in charge of women by what Allah has given one over the other, and what they spend from their wealth. So righteous women are devoutly obedient and guarding their whatever in the absence of their husband, what Allah would have them guard. But those wives from whom you fear disobedience. So what it's saying is these wives are they're being good for their husbands. They're not going to go out and sleep with other men. But if you fear that your wife did do this, here's what you get to do. You can advise them. If they persist, you need to forsake them in bed. And this isn't 1, 2, or 3. You can strike them right off the start. So you can advise them, forsake them in bed, and strike them. But if they finally obey you, then you don't do anything else. So it sounds like this is a punishment that you're giving your wife, right?
So if they obey you the first time, are you supposed to still strike them, or
nope, not at all?
Exactly. So,
but what if they don't? Then you can strike them, right?
There is different meanings for strike.
But you can strike them if they keep going, right?
But there is different meanings for
Answer my
strike.
question. You can strike them if they keep going, right?
Well, not sure. There is different meanings.
What do you mean you're not sure? What, you're not sure that we're reading the Quran now? Like this is the insane thing with Muslims. It literally says that you can strike your wife in their Quran. And when I ask him if he can strike his wife, he's like, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's in your Quran, man. Why are you denying what your Quran says?
Strike has different meanings. This is what I'm telling you. But you keep going back to hitting your wife, which is not right. I'm telling you.
What's the meaning that it means? What's the meaning?
Yeah, what's the meaning that it means in this verse?
Go to verse 381. It literally says,
no, in this verse, what is the meaning of it?
Not sure. I didn't research about this yet. I was going to research about it.
Well, maybe you should have. Because anyway, this is the verse that we're talking about.
Look, I'll research about it after I'm done.
Okay, so this verse, until you can prove me wrong, this means that you can strike your wife.
Huh? Well,
this
sure. Okay,
you can strike your wife, and that should be solid until you can provide a rebuttal. Just by saying, nah, that's not a rebuttal.
Sure, I'll come back later after I'm done with the other 2, 3, 4.
So let me just talk to Chris for 2 seconds there, Dan. 1 second. In Surah 26:63, it says, strike. And it says, then we revealed to Moses, strike with the staff the sea. I wonder if he was gently touching it with his finger, if he gave the sea 2 other warnings. Same word, guys. Same word, strike. Maybe
he was getting, maybe he was getting the water to renounce what it was doing.
Yeah, Surah 26:63. Then
I love how Muslims lie something awful about the word darba. We know that it means to hit. Quit lying.
Yeah, Surah 260 says the same thing, to strike. We know it means this. We know what it's saying, but the Muslims, because they are taught to lie, they'll say it means something else.
Is that in the Quran, right? Or
it's in the Quran, 26:63.
Okay.
It's just disgusting how much a Muslim will lie up here on the stage, and he knows that he's lying. Like, that's the brutal part.
While we're waiting, guys,
you're not having a respect.
One second, brother. 1 second. While we're waiting,
I wanted to, I would debunk your Bible in 5 minutes.
Yeah, brilliant. Right now, we are striking you. So just sit quietly and take it like a good woman does.
Now
what we're saying is, just give me a second, bro. 1 second.
Let's go to child marriage.
1 second.
Okay, let's go to.
I just want to say to Banku again, God bless you, Banku. She says, the true God has given you enough understanding to know that Allah is a deceiver. Intercourse with children, ? This can only be Satan, who would be okay with harming an innocent child. Exactly.
Amen. And James, I just want to ask you a quick question before you and this gentleman go on to the next point in the thing. In Christianity, if a man is to beat his wife and he tries to pray to God afterwards, will God even accept his prayer?
No, sir.
Excellent. Continue with the child marriage in Islam.
Just one about the Quran 26:63, I think, was it right? The one that you gave, the verse that you gave me, was it 26:63?
26:63, where Moses strikes with the staff.
What does he strike exactly? The sea. And what does that mean in that manner?
Oh my gosh, he was trying to renounce the sea.
He parted the sea, right?
He renounced the sea.
He parted the sea.
He renounced it. I'm listening to what you said. You said the word means renounce, correct?
Well, sure, yeah.
Okay, so he renounced the sea.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Beautiful. So we have a man in the Quran that just renounces his wife. Is it a verbal renouncing, or is it a physical renounce, or
the water itself, James? The water itself spoke and renounced paganism. That's what it did.
Okay, see that? There we go.
Okay, okay. I'll come back later for the wife beating thing. Go to child marriage.
Beautiful. So is child marriage evil?
What do you mean evil?
Is it evil for a grown man to lay upon a child that doesn't understand what sleeping with a woman entails, where a grown man with an average size Willy Wonka is going to be penetrating a girl that can't really take it? That's what I mean, because she doesn't understand what is happening to her. So the man is literally raping her. So my question, if a grown man, let's just take an example, a 50-year-old man jumps on top of I'll use an example, a 9-year-old girl, is that 9-year-old girl, poor little girl, and this disgusting man, is she physically able to accept this average size man, or will he have to have a very tiny willy for him to penetrate a 9-year-old or a 6-year-old?
Is she mature?
What does that entail? What is mature for you?
Did she have puberty?
I don't know. What is puberty?
You don't know what's puberty? Okay.
No, I don't know, because is menstruation puberty?
No, so
Different things.
we know what it means, but every time
Menstruation
we
and
tell you
puberty
what
are
it
different
means,
things,
hold on a second, because this is what's going to keep happening. I noticed it's been happening with the word wadrubahunna. It's going to keep happening the further we do this conversation. We know what words mean. We don't have any problem defining what words mean. You guys have problem with words. So we can tell you what puberty and all that stuff means, but you're just going to say, no, it doesn't mean that. It means this, because you redefine words. So this is why we're asking. You tell us what it means. Go ahead.
Can you ask the question about, you said what puberty means?
Yeah, can you just tell us? You said, has she
when-
reached puberty? I want to know, in Islam, what is puberty?
Is when a child become from a child to a woman, which is being mature.
Yeah, is there like
That's
one
what
event,
puberty.
or is it over time that she becomes mature?
What was that?
Does it happen like when she wakes up in the morning, she all of a sudden opens her eyes and she's mature? Or is it a process that you go through over several years?
How is it supposed to happen overnight?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. So if a girl is mature, is she or can she be mature at, for example, the age of 9?
Depends if she's mature by that time. I mean, you can.
Yeah, when you say mature again, what?
You don't have an exact age for that. She could
Okay,
be
that's
mature
fine. But what is it that makes her mature?
hitting puberty.
Okay, when you say hitting puberty, are you talking about menstruation?
Menstruation is a development stage. It's
Beautiful.
different from hitting puberty.
So is hitting your menstruation, is it the start of puberty or the end of puberty?
Not sure about that, to be honest with you.
Okay. Have you any brothers or any sisters, any cousins that are female?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, obviously. I mean,
Okay.
I got cousins, females.
Have you ever looked at a 9-year-old or even a 10-year-old cousin of yours or neighbor, some girl, and said, she looks like she is mature? Have you ever seen any mature girl that you can sit down and have a conversation with about the birds and the bees, or, you know, general stuff? Have you ever met one?
I only go out with boys who are my age. I don't go out with girls.
But you have cousins, correct?
Yes, but that doesn't
And you don't
mean
sit
I
with your
hang out
cousins?
with them. No, I don't sit with the girl cousins. No.
Why?
Why?
Because,
Why? I'm just curious. Why?
Because that's disrespectful. Because they're girls. Why would I go sit with
But
girls?
they're your cousins, correct?
Yeah, they're my cousins.
But you can also marry your cousins. Is that why you can't be near them?
Yeah, but marrying them is different from being with them without marrying them.
But you are able to see, you are able to tell if they are mature or not, correct?
Sure. I mean, if they're old, if they're old and mature enough, sure, yeah.
Okay, now this is my question again. Have you ever seen a 9-year-old go and vote in any country because she's mature. Have you ever seen a 9-year-old go get a tattoo or buy a beer or even go and jump in a train and go from A to B because she's mature?
No.
No, because she's a child, correct? She may have started her period, but it doesn't mean that she is an adult. The process has just started, correct?
Sure.
Beautiful. How long is that process? When are girls usually matured?
What do you mean when our girls usually matured?
When are they finished developing themselves? When is the body developed, ready for man?
Like, you mean exact age?
Plus minus. When do girls usually are formed? The body is now, it's nearly done. It's almost over with the entire development phase. If it's not at 9, it's not at 10, it's not at 11 or 12, it's a few years, correct?
When they're mature.
Beautiful. Now again, can a child that has not yet reached the years of menstruation marry knowing they're not mature enough to understand the consequences of a marriage? Do you feel that, let me watch this. Do you feel that you are mature enough to get married?
I mean, if I had money, sure, yeah, I'm mature enough to get married.
Okay, and you are over 20?
No, I'm 18.
Okay, you're 18. So it shows me now that you, sir, even if you had $1 million now, you wouldn't have been mature enough at 17. Today, maybe you are slightly more mature than you were last year, but you know for a fact, looking at yourself and understanding yourself, that being married is a big step, and you need to have the maturity to understand what marriage entails. My point is, your Quran, your Allah, and your Prophet is saying that you can marry these little girls that don't understand it, even though they are immature. Aisha was married at 6, and Fatima, Muhammad's daughter, I'll show it to you. Muhammad's daughter Fatima, again, you're talking, listen. Muhammad's daughter Fatima was 12, and Muhammad said she's too young to be married.
But can you show me in the Quran where Aisha was 6?
Does the Quran mention Aisha?
Not sure.
No. Nowhere in your Quran does it mention any other woman except Mary. No.
And you know you accept hadith. So quit trying to say
no. Shh, I never said I accept hadith or tafsir. I said Quran only.
Oh, now you're
in a worse position.
Okay, look, don't show me Aisha. Show me
are you a Quran? Just a second then.
Show me
you need to answer this
question. I'm asking the host
answer this question first.
I'm asking the host question.
No, you're not. How many times a day do you pray?
Can you show me where it says in the Quran?
How many times a day do you pray?
Can you show me in the Quran where it says to marry a child?
He's lying to get away from the hadith.
No.
That's exactly what he's doing here. Because when he was in the chat, he was quoting hadith in the chat. Why are you up here lying now and denying hadith, and you were quoting it in the chat?
Prove to me that I'm
Hold on a second. Hold on. I don't even believe that you're Muslim. Hold on. Stop. I don't even believe you're Muslim. Are you Muslim?
Yes, I'm Muslim.
Say Shahada.
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah.
You're a Sunni Muslim. You fell into my trap. When you say wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, that means you accept hadith. Bro, stop playing games with us. Stop playing games with us. Stop playing games with us.
No.
Stop playing games with us, bro.
Let me.
One more time, and I'm dropping you. One more time, dude, and I'm dropping you.
Let me explain something for you. You're dropping me because you guys can't.
Explain in the comments. You see what they do? If he really rejected hadith, if he was a Qur'ani, he would have said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. That's it. Because they don't put Muhammad in there because they think that's shirk. Only Ahsunu al-Jama'ah puts Muhammad in there. But the Shia, they even have a different shahada because they put Ali in there. Bro, like, do you see why when we started this, James, was that you earlier who was talking about how like they just lie? for like no reason.
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's not for no reason. We know why he was lying, but Chris got him because he said, yeah, he was quoting hadith in the chat. Now all of a sudden he doesn't take hadith. And he's still talking. Yeah, get muted, bro.
Guys, I'm under the weather today. I'm actually feeling exhausted right now, so hopefully I'll take some tablets and I'll be better for tomorrow. But I'm really not. I'm feeling a bit heavy
The topic,
today.
dude.
Maybe it's the cold.
Yeah, bro. It's the cold plus the topic, and
plus the topic.
bro, like even just dealing with like Ibrahim, like he's a good guy. He is. But I think towards the end he started to realize like the severity of the situation, and they just go into denial mode. And it's tiring trying to deal with this and trying. It's just insanity, man. Like I don't understand how people do this. I don't, man.
For those guys, these kind of topics, right? These are heavy topics. These are the topics that we don't like doing, because we basically talking about innocent little children, innocent little girls being eat some ajwa dates. That's right. Little girls being groomed, being used, being abused, being taken advantage of by Muslim men in the name of this Allah. And the reason for these topics is to show you guys that Muslims either hate this verse, this topic, or they come up to try to justify it. And because they try so desperate to justify it, you'll notice how disgusting it becomes. So wife beating, yeah, it's okay. You can do it. It doesn't matter. But when it comes to the child marriage thing, man, listening to the last guy tell me how, oh man, inside I was cooking and it's awful. But yeah, man, guys, just keep us in your prayers. Chris, you want to say anything, my man? I apologize for cutting it short.
No, man, God bless. I understand why you got to get off, but I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I just want to say this last thing. Somebody was asking, how can you tell the difference? And this is what the Lord Jesus Christ said. He says, be as wise as a serpent, but be as gentle as a dove, right? So whenever you read the scriptures and you see our Lord talking with, it might be the Pharisees or the Sadducees or anybody that's trying to um, uh, debate him or something, notice what he does. He asks them questions first because he knows how they have to respond. So he'll ask them questions, or he may say a parable and make them think about it. And because he's like, look, there's no point sometimes in telling people just all the information at once, because they're just going to go in this back and forth. What you do is be wise when you deal with them. That's why in the beginning, when we first started this live and James showed the video about Uthman ibn Farouk, where he just started lying. The person he was debating, unfortunately, was unexperienced in debate tactics, so he was just easily just steered away from it. But what he should have did initially was just stopped him and questioned him on everything that he said. So when this guy comes up and Chris had him, he was like, I saw you in the chat quoting hadith. But now notice what he had to do. He had to lie. He said, no, you don't know if I accept hadith or not. So easy question. Okay. I don't even believe that you really are what you say you are. Can you say shahada? He says it. Sunni Muslims say they put Muhammad in the shahada because if you're a part of that particular school, then you believe that he's the final prophet. So you put him in the shahada. Okay, fine, no problem. But if he was a Qur'ani, if he only took Qur'an and no hadith, they would not put him in the shahada because they believe that that's shirk. That's what Quran only Muslims do. And the Shia, they even have a different formula because they put Muhammad and Ali in the Shahada. So that's the easiest way for you to get him to admit what he is without trying to debate him for 5 minutes or 10 minutes on if he does. So this is how you have to deal with this. Like be wise when you talk with them, because if you know that they're just going to lie to you, you have to be wise with every single thing that you say.
So the guy that's requesting, your name is Heat Z Pro. Tomorrow's another day, dude. I'm not feeling up to it right now. So I am feeling a bit under the weather. I'm going to push in some, I don't know what the word is in English, tablets, like, to hopefully help me. But yeah, that's most of the people in the family have been sick. I thought I was going to fight it off, but you know, we're all good. So anyway, guys,
like that,
tomorrow,
bro.
say again.
No, I was saying sometimes it's like that, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop. God bless, man, and continue to pray for us, guys, and pray for Ibrahim that was here earlier. I think he's close. He just needs a little push, but God bless you, James.
God bless, guys. As always, remove the hate, the pride, the ego. Humble yourselves. We don't need to lie about our Bible. We don't need to lie about our Jesus. We don't need to lie about our Lord and Savior. Ever, never, ever. But, you know, for those people that are sitting back there, the Muslims, watching topics like this, notice we were the ones to provide what the Quran is showing you. Yes, you're allowed to beat your wife. Yes, you can penetrate little girls, little innocent girls. So if you are Muslim and you have daughters, I want you to go home. I want you to look at your daughter dead in the eye and imagine Muhammad lying on top of her. That's how sick this is. Tomorrow's another day. We'll do this again, but I need to go.